subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Thin middle-aged man said calmly, "It is me." Wang Duxing and the other two were surprised to get my reply. Especially Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing. They served in the military when they were young. Once, aliens suddenly invaded a city in a second-level alien world occupied by the seven-star civilization. The incident happened suddenly, and the alien attack was swift. The top leaders all thought that the city could not be defended. Unexpectedly, Luo Cheng stood up in the critical moment. With the power at the peak of the extreme martial realm, he alone killed countless aliens and forced them to give up the invasion. The city was also saved because of him. Luo Cheng also became famous and a hero because of that battle. His name was particularly famous in the army at that time. Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing were still new recruits at the time, and they admired Luo Cheng very much. But I never heard any news about him again. I thought he was promoted to another place, but I didn't expect to meet him here. Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing were very excited when they saw the objects of their former admiration. "Hello, Senior Luo." Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing walked forward with respect on their faces, wanting to shake hands with Luo Cheng as a sign of respect. However, Luo Cheng's right hand remained in his trouser pocket, with no intention of taking it out. The two men immediately looked embarrassed, secretly wondering if the other party looked down on them and was unwilling to shake hands with them. At this moment, Luo Cheng smiled, stretched out his left hand, and said, "Hello." Seeing this scene, Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing suddenly realized. It turned out that Luo Cheng's right hand was gone, only his left hand was left. They quickly changed hands and shook hands with Luo Cheng enthusiastically. "Sorry, Senior Luo, we didn't notice your hand just now," the two said apologetically. Luo Cheng smiled cheerfully. "It's okay, it's all over." Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing scratched their heads in embarrassment. In order to ease the atmosphere, they immediately changed the topic and looked at Qiu Daji. "Old Qiu, why didn't you tell me in advance that you wanted to invite Senior Luo to such a big event? We were not prepared at all. Isn't this embarrassing for us?" Wang Duxing said, half-jokingly. Luo Cheng waved his hand and smiled. "Don't blame Boss Qiu. It was me who suggested coming here in person. Selecting disciples is something that can only be done personally. You can't be careless." When Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing heard the words "select disciples," they were stunned for a moment, their faces full of confusion. Seeing this, Qiu Daji quickly explained, "I invited Master Luo to open a martial arts school in our Zhenhai city. As a newly opened martial arts school, in addition to having outstanding masters, we also need outstanding disciples. Master Luo's strength is naturally beyond reproach, but the requirements for his disciples in this regard are relatively high. So, Master Luo wanted to personally select some satisfactory disciples. He heard that today was the high school martial arts competition, so he came here specially." Hearing this, Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing looked at each other and nodded. Wang Duxing pulled Qiu Daji aside and asked in a low voice, "You must have spent a lot of time and money to invite Senior Luo here, right?" Qiu Daji smiled slightly and shook his head. "It is true that a lot of money was spent, but what's more important are the things that can't be measured in money. It's hard to describe the twists and turns in this matter in just a few words." Wang Duxing nodded to show his understanding and then asked, "Then did you recommend Lu Zhen to Senior Luo?" Qiu Daji sighed helplessly. "Of course I recommended him. The first person I thought of was Lu Zhen. I told Master Luo that Lu Zhen has mastered 4 stages of martial arts and 4 stages of body movements. But Master Luo doesn't seem to believe it. He felt it was too difficult to reach this level of martial arts at the age of 15. So I decided to come and see for myself." Chapter 62, Shadowless Technique. It is understandable that Senior Luo has doubts. Wang Duxing responded with a smile, his eyes revealing his deep trust in Lu Zhen. "If I hadn't witnessed Lu Zhen's growth with my own eyes, I probably wouldn't have believed that he could master 4 levels of martial arts and 4 levels of body movements." He shook his head slightly and continued, But this is normal. After all, it's hard to believe if you don't see it with your own eyes. But today is a good opportunity for Senior Luo to see with his own eyes how strong Lu Zhen is. Wang Dixing's eyes sparkled with anticipation. Senior Luo is a master at the pinnacle of the extreme martial realm. His strength and vision are unmatched by us. If Lu Zhen is lucky enough to become his disciple, it will undoubtedly be a great thing for him. Not only will this help him improve his martial arts skills faster, it will also help him avoid many detours on his future martial arts journey. After saying that, Wang Dixing and Qiu Daji returned to the team, their hearts full of expectations and confidence in Lu Zhen. Wang Dixing said with a smile on his face, "Senior Luo, I am Wang Dixing, the principal of Shuijing High School." Luo Cheng responded calmly, "Boss Qiu has already mentioned you to me. The warrior named Lu something he introduced to me is your student. However, I must explain in advance that my standards for accepting disciples have always been strict. I will not decide whether to accept someone unless I have seen him with my own eyes." Wang Dixing waved his hands quickly, still smiling. It's okay. The matter of accepting a disciple as a teacher is indeed not something that can be taken lightly. Being strict is a responsible behavior for both parties. Afterwards, several people gathered together, chatting while waiting for the competition to officially begin. At this moment, a sharp and familiar voice suddenly cut through the air. "Isn't this Principal Wang? Long time no see." Long Tongue, the principal of Longting High School, walked over with Xia Fangyu with a confident look on his face. Seeing Long Tongue, Wang Dixing sneered. "Didn't we just meet a while ago?" "Principal Long Tongue, your memory is really worrying." Long Tongue laughed and pretended to be enlightened. "Oh, yes, look at my memory. I'm really embarrassed. By the way, how is Shuijing High School preparing for this year? Are you planning to continue to take third place or aim for second place?" Wang Dixing's eyes were firm, and his tone revealed an unquestionable dominance. "First." Long Tongue smiled even more, but with a hint of provocation. "First? Principal Wang, you are really arrogant. However, I'm afraid I'll disappoint you. With Xia Fangyu here, I'm afraid you won't be able to win the championship this year." At this moment, Long Tongue's eyes fell on the middle-aged man next to Wang Dixing. He felt that he looked familiar, and a hint of curiosity surged in his heart. "This gentleman looks familiar. What should I address him?" Long Tongue asked politely. Before the other party could speak, Qiu Daji on the side had already introduced. "This is the master of our new martial arts hall, Luo Cheng." Luo Cheng. Upon hearing this, Long Tongue's eyes suddenly lit up, as if he remembered something shocking from the past. "Are you the senior Luo Cheng who is at the peak of the extreme martial realm and can defend an entire city by himself?" Long Tang's tone was filled with awe. Luo Cheng nodded slightly, his expression still calm. "It's me. I have heard of your great name for a long time. Long Tongue said excitedly. "I am the principal of Longting High School, the best martial arts high school in Jinhai City. My name is Longting. It's a great honor to meet you here." As he spoke, he winked at Xia Fangyu beside him, indicating him to salute. Although Xia Fangyu heard Luo Cheng's name for the first time, he also bowed respectfully when he saw Long Tongue was so awed. "Hello, Senior Luo. My name is Xia Fangyu." Long Tongue spoke again, with a tentative tone in his voice. "Senior Luo, I would like to ask you a question. Are you here to watch the high school martial arts tournament this time to find a suitable disciple?" There is no reason for a strong man of Luo Cheng's status to come and watch the competition among martial arts high school students. He is currently the master of a new martial arts school, and the only reason he came here is to find a suitable disciple. All the outstanding high school martial artists in Jinhai City will participate in the high school martial arts conference, which is a good time to select disciples. Luo Chantan replied calmly. "That's true, since I have already promised Boss Qiu that I will become the master of his new martial arts school. Then it is my job to select some suitable disciples." Hearing this, Long Ting showed a happy expression on his face. He pulled Xia Fangyu beside him and introduced him to Luo Cheng expectantly. Then what do you think of me as a student? He is 17 years old this year and has already successfully entered the ranks and reached the mortal martial realm. My martial arts level has also reached the 4th level. Do you think he meets the criteria to become your disciple? Luo Cheng looked at Xia Fangyu carefully and nodded slightly. Judging from the appearance, his body shape and bones are quite good. However, recruiting disciples is no small matter. I still need to personally witness his performance before I can determine whether he meets the conditions for becoming my disciple. Luo Cheng's words revealed his rigorous attitude towards accepting disciples. In Luo Cheng's heart, accepting a disciple is an extremely serious matter. He will not make decisions easily based on other people's words, but insists on observing with his own eyes and feeling with his heart, even if others exaggerate about a person's talent. As long as he himself is not satisfied, then this person will never become his disciple. It doesn't matter. Hearing this, Long Tongue showed an even brighter smile. It just so happens that today is the high school martial arts meet, and Xia Fangyu will also participate. You'll see him in action soon. Long Tongue completely understood Luo Cheng's request. After all, a strong man must be more cautious when recruiting disciples. Then I won't bother you. I'll come and visit you in person after the game is over. After speaking, he nodded politely to Luo Cheng and left with Xia Fangyu. Arrive at the preparation room of Lonting High School. Xia Fangyu couldn't restrain his curiosity and asked Long Tongue, "Principal, who is that senior Luo?" Long Tongue smiled broadly, with a hint of awe flashing in his eyes. "He is really an amazing person. I remember that on the foreign battlefield, he was guarding a city by himself. It's hard to prevent those foreign races from taking a step beyond the realm of possibility. In the military, his reputation is well known. His strength has reached the peak of the extreme martial arts realm. If he hadn't lost his right hand in that cruel war, I'm afraid he would have broken through to the realm of nuclear weapons and become a truly peerless strongman." Long Tongue's words were full of admiration for Luo Cheng. When Xia Fangyu heard this, he couldn't help but exclaimed, "The peak of the extreme martial arts realm. It's just one step away from entering the realm of nuclear weapons. This is too fierce." Long Tongue smiled and shook his head. "This is not the most powerful thing about him. The most amazing thing about him is his unique martial art, shadowless technique. This is a powerful martial art that combines strength, movement, and mental power. He relied on this move to kill the enemy on the alien battlefield without leaving any trace behind. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to defend a city by himself, just with his strength at the peak of the extreme martial realm. His real power lies not in his realm, but in his extraordinary martial arts." Xia Fangyu was stunned by Long Tongue's words. Then, Long Tongue changed the topic. "I don't know what means Kyu Daji used to get Luo Cheng to agree to be a master in his martial arts school. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us." He looked at Xia Fangyu, and his expression became extremely serious. "You must go all out today to show your true strength. Try to make Luo Cheng like you and accept you as his disciple. This is your great opportunity. If you can get Luo Cheng to accept you as his disciple, you'll have a chance to learn his shadowless technique. Once you learn the shadowless technique, it will be much more useful than attending any top martial arts university. If you learn this trick, your future achievements will be limitless." Long Tongue's words were full of expectation and encouragement. Xia Fangyu nodded sharply, with a firm light shining in his eyes. "I understand, Principal. I will try my best." Chapter 63, the game begins. In the spectator seats, Luo Cheng felt a little irritable listening to the noisy voices of people around him. He likes quiet and doesn't like noise. If it weren't for finding a suitable disciple, he would never come to a place like this. He looked at the young boys and girls below and sighed slightly. "I hope I can find a right person. What if the shadowless technique is lost in my hands? I am the center of the sect. It's really difficult to find someone who can perfectly inherit the shadowless technique." Shadowless technique, the most powerful martial arts of the shadowless sect. Only one person is passed down in each generation. Luo Cheng is the 18th generation descendant of Wu Ying's sect. His own realm has reached the peak of the extreme martial arts realm, if it were not for the hidden illness caused by the injury. He can completely break through the nuclear weapons realm. He even made great achievements in the alien battlefield, gained fame, and became a hero in the army. He's gotten everything he wanted in his life. His only regret is no suitable heir was found. Since retiring, he has been looking for disciples who can inherit the shadowless technique. But after searching for so many years, I still haven't found the person I like. It's not that there are no suitable people. It's just that the suitable people are top talents like Dandy Lewis and Wan Nanjiang. Their masters are all strong in the nuclear weapons realm, and some are even in the quasi-god realm. What they pursue is a higher realm and stronger martial arts. He simply looked down upon Luo Cheng, a person who is only at the peak of the extreme martial realm. There is no need to be his disciple for the shadowless technique. Their own martial arts skills are already stronger than the shadowless technique. So, Luo Cheng has been looking for a disciple for so many years. No suitable one was found. The reason why he was willing to come to watch Zhenhai City's high school martial arts meet this time was, 1. is to recruit disciples for the new martial arts gym. Secondly, he also wanted to try his luck and see if he could find someone suitable to inherit his shadowless technique. But he didn't have high hopes either. After all, there are no suitable people found in those big cities where martial arts are prosperous. This is even more impossible in Zhenhai City, which has an average martial arts environment. Over time, the game finally begins. More and more people are watching the battle. From the initial number of hundreds of thousands, it jumped to hundreds of thousands. Fortunately, this is a virtual arena and there are no seating restrictions. Otherwise, how could these hundreds of thousands of spectators be able to sit down? The lights dimmed. The host appears. Welcome to the Zhenhai City High School Martial Arts Club. I am a host. After the host appeared, he started with a formal conversation. Although it was useless, it still had to be said. After finishing speaking, we finally entered the competition. Let me introduce the rules of this competition. The first thing to start is the individual competition. There are 60 martial arts high schools in Zhenhai City participating this time, with a total of about 50,000 martial artists competing at the same time. The battle is divided into 10 groups. Each group has 5,000 people. These 5,000 people will randomly come to the special battlefield. The battlefield adopts a battle royale mode, and the top 10 players with points can advance to the next round. Players, please be prepared. The game is about to begin. Only 3 people from each high school can participate in the team battle. But in individual battles, all martial arts high school students can participate. There are more than 5,000 people in each group, but only 10 people can advance. The probability of 500:1 is enough to show how fierce the personal battle is. In the preparation room, Lubo looked at everyone in the elite class with a serious expression. The high school martial arts meet only happens once a year. It doesn't matter whether you can advance or not, but you must try your best. There are not many opportunities to fight with thousands of people. This is also a good opportunity to hone yourself. Lubo said a lot of things, and the general content was to ask them to do their best. He doesn't require them to be number 1 or anything like that. It's too difficult to be number 1 among tens of thousands of people. Most people simply can't do it. Only those true geniuses can compete for the first place. Lubo turned to Lu Zhen and asked, Lu Zhen, which group are you assigned to? Lu Zhen replied, Group 10. Lubo frowned slightly. Group 10, the position is a bit far back. But it doesn't matter. Everyone has a chance to play today anyway. Staying back just means you have to wait longer. You can take a good look at the strength of other players during this period. Lubo has absolute confidence in Lu Zhen. With Lu Zhen's level, promotion is not a problem at all, and even winning the championship is easy. Lubo's real concern lies with other team members. He then looked at the fat man Ji Li and asked, Ji Li, which group are you assigned to? Ji Li replied with a bitter look on his face. I am in the first group. This means I have to be the first to go on stage. I really don't want to go on stage so early. Lubo heard this and joked. You should be happy. Some people want to be the first to play, but haven't had the chance yet. This is also a recognition of your strength. Then, he turned his attention to Su Shangnan. Su Shangnan, what about you? Which group are you assigned to? Su Shangnan replied calmly. Group 8. Lu Bo nodded with satisfaction. Very good. You didn't bump into each other. The probability of advancing will be greater. Longting High School Preparation Room. Long Tongue asked Xia Fangyu, which group are you in? Xia Fangyu replied, Group 9. Long Ting nodded. It's a bit behind, but it doesn't matter. We have to play sooner or later anyway. You are now in the mortal martial realm, and no one in the entire arena can be your opponent. But your goal today is not to win the championship, but to show your strength and let others see your talent. Luo Cheng is watching the battle outside. Can you become his disciple? It depends on this time. Understood. Xia Fangyu nodded. He knew what to do. Soon, the first group's competition began. A group of 5,000 players turned into light and appeared on the battlefield. The battlefield they descended upon was a snowfield battlefield. The entire battlefield was covered with white snow, and scattered snowflakes continued to fall from the sky, making it easy for the sight to be blocked. After the game starts, the audience burst into cheers. It finally begins. Charge the duck. Kill. Kill for me. Amid the fierce cheers of the audience, the players in the first group officially entered the battle. On a huge screen, battle scenes appeared one after another. There's also a points ranking next to it. 5 minutes after the battle starts, the points ranking is gradually fixed. Spectating seats. Qiu Daji pointed to a name on the ranking and said excitedly, Master Luo, look. The first one is my son, Qiu Fugue. You've seen it before. Wang Dixing smiled and said, Fugue performed well this time. As soon as the points came up, he ranked first. As long as we hold on steady, we should be able to advance. As a student of Shuijing High School, Wang Dixing was also very happy that Qiu Fugue could perform like this. Luo Cheng looked at Qiu Fugue, who had only 8.4 life level and a 3rd level martial arts skill on the screen, and nodded casually. He had met Qiu Fugue before. In his impression, Qiu Fugue was just a rich man. He has a lot of business acumen, but his martial arts talent is average. The strength that we have today is all built up by spending money. Those who do not meet the conditions to become his disciple are not suitable to inherit his shadowless technique. On the battlefield, Qiu Fugue took a spear and killed everyone. This group is all warriors who are not very strong. Qiu Fugue successfully won the first place with his level 8.4 and level 3 martial arts skills. Haha, did you see it? The first one is my son, Qiu Daji shouted excitedly, with a proud smile on his face. The spectators around him just rolled their eyes at him. I thought to myself, I'm just the first in the group. Why should I be so excited? I thought your kid won the championship. Qiu Daji ignored the looks of others and turned to Luo Cheng expectantly. Master Luo, do you think my son can become your disciple? Luo Cheng shook his head gently. Boss Qiu, your son is indeed pretty good, but I'm sorry, he still doesn't meet the requirements to become my disciple. Qiu Daji looked puzzled. Then Master Luo, what standard should meet your requirements? Luo Cheng sighed and explained, let me tell you the truth. If you want to become my disciple, martial arts, body skills, and mental strength are all indispensable. The level of martial arts does not have to be high, but must be developed in a balanced way. If your son's martial arts is at the 3rd level and his body and mental strength are also at the 3rd level, then I will definitely accept him. After hearing this, Qiu Daji couldn't help complaining. This is too harsh. It's very rare to be able to highlight a certain item. Who can achieve balanced development? Luo Cheng smiled helplessly. Yes, I also want to ask who can do it. But the sect's rules are like this. You can't make do with it. That's why I haven't found a suitable disciple for so many years. After Qiu Daji heard this, a trace of disappointment flashed across his face, but he also understood Luo Cheng's difficulty. After all, every sect has its own rules. Chapter 64, Lu Zhen appears. The first group of battles is over. Please prepare the second group of players. The battle is about to begin. The host's voice rang out. Then, another group of players entered the battlefield to start the next round of battle. In the spectator seats, Qiu Fugue walked up to Qiu Daji with a happy expression. Dad, How was my performance just now? Kyu Daji said with a satisfied smile. My son is promising and finally won the first place. Although he only ranked first in the group, it was still pretty good. After receiving his father's approval, Kyu Fugue smiled with satisfaction. He walked up to Kyu Daji and asked secretly, Dad, what does Senior Luo think of me? Kyu Daji shook his head. Not very good. I didn't meet the requirements to become his disciple. Kyu Fugue frowned and said, I already won first place, but this is still not enough. Senior Luo's requirements are too strict, Kyu Daji said. I think except for Lu Zhen, all the contestants present should be difficult to achieve. Kyu Fugue said, Think about it. For a strong man like Senior Luo, ordinary people really can't be his disciples. My talent is average, so it's normal that I can't catch his eye. Now it's up to Lu Zhen. He is a member of our martial arts club. If he can become a disciple of Senior Luo, it will only be good for us and not harmful. Soon, the second battle is also over. The performance in this game was very average. The contestants were not very strong, and there was nothing interesting to watch. Then the third, fourth, fifth, until the seventh game were all equally boring. The audience is still excited, and there is a burst of exclamation after every performance. But for Luo Cheng, a strong man at the peak of the extreme martial realm, these battles are just children's play, very boring. He almost fell asleep watching it. If Kyu Daji hadn't kept telling him that it would be exciting later, he would have left long ago. The eighth group of battles is about to begin. Players, please get ready. The host's voice sounded. Then, the figure of the contestant appeared on the battlefield. Kyu Daji recognized one of them at a glance, pointed at her, and said excitedly, Master Luo, look at that girl. Her name is Su Shengnan. She is my niece, and she is very talented. Really? Let me take a look. Luo Cheng looked in the direction Kyu Daji pointed. At a glance, he saw Su Shengnan, who was killing people on the big screen. In the battlefield, Su Shengnan held a horizontal sword in his hand and was invincible. He was like a hellish Shura, slashing at everyone he saw. Now he has reached a life level of 8.3, and his martial arts and body skills have also reached the third level intermediate level. Among these martial arts high school students, it is already very good. Luo Cheng asked calmly, How old is this girl this year? What talent is she? Kyu Daji said. If I remember correctly, he should be 15 years old, a level talent. Master Luo, what do you think of her? Luo Cheng said, It's okay. The sword technique is very sharp, unlike what ordinary martial arts teachers can teach. Kyu Daji smiled and said, Master Luo's eyes are really vicious. She comes from a martial arts family, and her family elders are all martial arts masters. Her sword skills were all taught by her family elders. Luo Cheng nodded to express his understanding. Kyu Daji asked tentatively, Master Luo, can this girl become your disciple? Luo Cheng smiled faintly. Let's take a look. He neither agreed nor refused directly. Seeing this, Kyu Daji stopped asking any more questions, which could be seen from Luo Cheng's attitude. He probably didn't like Su Shengnan either. Soon, the eighth battle is over. Su Shengnan won the first place in points and advanced smoothly. Although she encountered some difficult opponents during this period, she still won easily with her domineering sword. The ninth battle is about to begin. Players, please get ready. The host's voice echoed throughout the scene. Then, countless figures appeared on the battlefield. Someone immediately recognized a warrior holding a spear on the battlefield. It's Xia Fangyu, last year's winner. Finally, it's his turn. The audience couldn't help but get excited after seeing Xia Fangyu. Luo Cheng listened to the excited screams of the audience and remembered it instantly. This is the young man who greeted him before the game started, and he seems to have already entered the advanced level. Looking at Xia Fangyu in the battlefield, Luo Cheng instantly became interested. In the battlefield, Xia Fangyu held a spear like the god of war, descending. No one survived wherever he went. The strength of the mortal martial realm is almost invincible in the entire battlefield. Whoever sees him dies, no one can stop him. Even if he is surrounded by many people, he can easily kill them all instantly. In the end, He won the first place with 1,011 points. FK. This Xiaofang Yu is too fierce. On a battlefield of more than 5,000 people, he killed more than 1,000 by himself. It's absolutely cruel. How can we compete in this game? Let's just give him the championship. There were constant exclamations at the scene. Everyone was shocked by Xiaofang Yu's strength. In the spectator seats, at this moment, Wang Dasheng, Lu Bo, and Qiu Daji were surprised. Xiaofang Yu actually broke through to the mortal martial realm. Why so fast? Wasn't he still at level 9 some time ago? Wang Dasheng said, in surprise. Lu Bo said, it should have just been a breakthrough during this period. Qiu Daji said, will this guy affect Lu Zhan's victory? Wang Dasheng smiled and said, don't worry, it won't be affected. Let alone one in the mortal martial realm. Even 10 of them are still no match for Lu Zhan. Back then, the 10 mortal martial realm sea fish tribes couldn't do anything against Lu Zhan. Now Xiaofang Yu, who is in the mortal martial realm, is even less likely to be Lu Zhan's opponent. Other side, after Xiaofang Yu's battle ended, Long Tong came to Luo Cheng immediately. Senior Luo, what do you think of my student? Luo Cheng replied calmly, very good. The level of realm and martial arts is not low. It's very rare to reach this level at this age. Long Tong was very excited and asked tentatively, then can he become your disciple? Luo Cheng replied, you are not qualified to be my true disciple. But as a disciple of the new martial arts school, you can still consider it. Hearing this, Long Tong could hardly suppress the smile on his face. Then I'll first thank Senior Luo for Xiaofang Yu. As long as I can become your disciple, it doesn't matter even if I am not a true disciple. As long as I can be by your side, it is a great honor for Xiaofang Yu. Long Tong was very happy. Although Luo Cheng did not directly ask him to become his true disciple, it is said that those who are close to the water and towers get the moon first. As long as you can stay with Luo Cheng, you will still have the opportunity to become a true disciple. The 10th group battle is about to begin. Players, please prepare. The host's voice rang out. The next second, the last player turned into a ray of light and appeared on the battlefield. And when they saw a contestant on the big screen, the audience instantly burst into laughter. Ah, it's Lu Zhan. He's finally here. Chapter 65, I have accepted this disciple. Come on, Lu Zhan. Lu Zhan is so handsome. Lu Zhan rushes to the duck. There were bursts of cheers and screams. Lu Zhan's title of hero was personally commended by Leader Shan. His popularity in Zhenhai City is not ordinary. In addition, he is also very good-looking and has gained a large number of fans, especially young fans. Half of the young audience at the scene came to Lu Zhan. Seeing Lu Zhan on the stage, Wang Dasheng and Lu Bo also became excited. Quick, quick, quick! Lu Zhan is on the stage. Hurry up and record his game. Wang Dasheng kept urging Lu Bo on the side. Lu Bo frowned and said, Principal, there seems to be something wrong with the recording function of the virtual arena, and the recording cannot be done. Wang Dasheng frowned and said, Can't record? What's going on? Lu Bo said, I don't know. All other functions can be used, but I can't record. Damn it. Such a problem happened at such a critical moment. Wang Dasheng couldn't help but complain. He quickly found Zhang Kaibing and asked, Old Zhang, there is something wrong with the recording function. Please find someone to fix it quickly. This is a wonderful moment when Lu Zhan wins the championship. I have to record him. Zhang Kaibing smiled and said, Okay, you continue to watch the game first. I will have someone fix it right now. Then hurry up. Wang Dasheng said and left. Looking at his leaving figure, Zhang Kaibing smiled and said, Sorry, old comrade. You can't record the moment when Lu Zhan wins the championship. Just now, Zhang Kaibing asked someone to turn off the recording function. The purpose is to prevent Lu Zhan's performance in the game from being recorded and posted online. Lu Zhan is currently at the 5th level of martial arts, 5th level of physical skills, and 5th level of spirit. As long as he makes a move, his strength will be exposed, and it will definitely cause a violent sensation. Not only Zhenhai City, but also the entire country of China, and even Blue Star will be shocked. At that time, it will definitely attract the attention of foreign races. This is not a good thing for Lu Zhan. The spread of the virus must be reduced. Recording is only possible with the built-in recording function of the virtual arena. As long as this function is turned off, there is no need to worry about Lu Zhan's battle being posted online. But, although the recording function was turned off, there were so many viewers present that it was impossible to hide it. But as long as no video leaks out, no matter how strong word of mouth spreads, many people still won't believe it without seeing it with their own eyes. Although you will definitely not be able to hide it in the end, you can hide it for a while. In the spectator seats, Qiu Daji pointed at Lu Zhen on the big screen and said to Luo Cheng, "Master Luo, that's the Lu Zhen I recommend to you. 15 years old, 4th level of martial arts, 4th level of body skills." Luo Cheng nodded. "Let me see how he performs." He set his sights on Lu Zhen. On the battlefield, what Lu Zhen came to was a desert map. This map has a very good view, and you can see your opponent not far away as soon as you land. Lu Zhen rushed towards the opponent without saying a word. With the blessing of 5th level martial arts and 5th level body skills, it is just a punch when you go up. The person he attacked was eliminated within a second of his arrival. The moment Lu Zhen took action, Luo Cheng kept opening his eyes wide. This is not a 4th paragraph. That's 5 paragraphs. Luo Cheng was shocked. It's not just him. Except for Zhang Kaibing, Wang Daxing, Lu Bo, Qiu Daji, and everyone present were all shocked. I have a mother-in-law. This seems to be at the 5th Dan level. In his realm, is this an extraordinary martial realm? This. There was an uproar at the scene. Everyone was stunned by Lu Zhan's level of martial arts. Luo Cheng's eyes widened, and he asked Qiu Daji beside him in disbelief, "Mortal martial realm. 5 levels of martial arts, 5 levels of body skills. You told me this is 15 years old? Can a 15-year-old achieve this state of mind? Is it at this level?" I don't know either." Qiu Daji also looked confused. "Master Luo, please wait a moment, I'll go and find out." Qiu Daji quickly found Wang Daxing and asked on the spot, "Old Wang, Lu Zhen still has to reach the 5th level of the mortal martial realm. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" At this moment, Wang Daxing was also in a state of confusion. "I just found out too." He immediately turned to look at Lu Bo and asked, "Director Lu, Lu Zhen still has to reach the 5th level of the mortal martial realm. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Lu Bo was on the verge of tears. "I just found out too. Obviously, he was only in the 4th level a few days ago and has not made any breakthrough. How come it's only been a few days and we've gone straight to the mortal martial realm? I don't even know when he reached the 5th Dan level." Wang Daxing asked again, "Did you really just find out?" Lu Bo said with a bitter look on his face, "Really? If I had known, I would have been eager to report the good news to you. Why wait until now?" Wang Daxing thought of something in an instant and immediately found Zhang Kaibing. "Old Zhang, tell me the truth. Did you already know that Lu Zhen is still at the 5th level of the mortal martial realm?" Zhang Kaibing smiled and said, "Yes. Didn't Lu Zhen tell you after he broke through? How is it? Are you surprised?" "Surprise?" Wang Daxing said excitedly. "The surprise is too much, and it becomes a shock." Wang Daxing grabbed Zhang Kaibing's collar and said excitedly, 15 years old, at the 5th level of the mortal martial arts realm. Who in the entire Blue Star can do it? Lu Zhen is about to take off." Wang Daxing returned to Qiu Daji with excitement and dancing. "I'm sorry, Lao Qiu. Lu Zhen just made a breakthrough in the past few days. He didn't tell anyone. I just found out too," Qiu Daji said excitedly. It's okay. Lu Zhen has given us another surprise." Qiu Daji returned to Luo Cheng and said excitedly, "Master Luo, I'm sorry. Lu Zhen just made a breakthrough in the past few days. He didn't tell anyone, and I just found out." Luo Cheng looked at Lu Zhen on the big screen, his eyes filled with golden light, as if he was seeing a rare treasure. "You have reached the mortal martial realm at such a young age, and your martial arts skills have broken through the 5th level. There is such a monster-like genius in this world. If I remember correctly, Leader Dugu broke through to the mortal martial realm at the age of 16. The age of 17 is when you reach the 5th Dan level in martial arts. There is actually a genius who is even more evil than Leader Dugu. It's a long time to see you." Luo Cheng looked at Lu Zhen, who was killing everyone on the big screen, and his breathing became rapid. This is the most outrageous genius he has ever seen in his life. This kind of genius has completely exceeded the requirements to become his disciple, and it is not even a little bit beyond. Did Lu Zhen become a disciple? Luo Cheng asked Qiu Daji anxiously. Probably not. If he had become a disciple, Lao Wang probably wouldn't have asked me to recommend him to you. Qiu Daji replied. Luo Cheng said happily, Okay, it's okay if you don't become a disciple. I have accepted this disciple today. No, I can't wait any longer. I have to wait for him at the exit. When he appears, I will accept him as my disciple as soon as possible. Luo Cheng was so excited that he walked directly towards the preparation room of Shuijing High School. Chapter 66. You have to think clearly. On the big screen, Lu Zhen is like a demon in the sky who kills gods and Buddhas when they block them. With the blessing of 5th level martial arts and 5th level body skills, killing people is easier than trampling on ants. Those he caught were beaten to death before they could even escape. This battle was not so much a battle royale of thousands of people as it was a unilateral massacre by Lu Zhen. In the end, he won the first place in the group with a score of 3,677 points. In a battlefield of 5,000 people, he killed more than 70% of them. This scene shocked the audience. Outrageous! He killed more than 3,000 of 5,000 people alone. This is a bloody massacre. His opponent couldn't get any points, so he just ran away and couldn't escape. The people he is grouped with are really unlucky. The rest area of Longting High School. Xiao Fangyu and Long Tung looked at this scene. Their eyes widened and their mouths opened hugely. How is this possible? How can he be a 5th Dan? Xiao Fangyu looked in disbelief. The two of them had played against each other some time ago, and they were obviously still at the beginning of the 4th stage at that time. And hasn't he been hospitalized during this time? Where do you find the time to practice? How long has it been since then? Why have we reached the 5th paragraph? Is this reasonable? It's over. It's completely over. 5th Dan level. Take your head to compete with him for the championship. Despair arose in Long Tung's heart. I thought that after Xiao Fangyu broke through to the mortal martial realm, he would already have the championship in his hands this time. Who would have thought that Lu Zhen, a monster, is actually at the 5th level? How can you play this? At the same time, Long Tung also felt very regretful. Lu Zhen is such a monster genius. Why didn't I work harder to dig him out in the first place? The lounge of Shuijing High School. Su Shangnan and his classmates saw that Lu Zhen was at the 5th Dan level. Everyone was stunned. That's stupid. I'm only at the 2nd level of martial arts. Not even the 3rd level. Is Lu Zhen already in the 5th stage? This is so FG shocking. We are all in the same class. Why is the gap so big? There is something wrong with Lu Zhen's designation. Everyone was shocked. Su Shangnan was also shocked. Obviously, a few days ago, they were participating in a team battle in the virtual arena. At that time, Lu Zhen was only at the 4th level. Just a few days later, he was already at the 5th level. This growth rate is too fast. His own speed could not be improved as fast as drinking water. Just then, 2 figures rushed in hurriedly. Qiu Daji and Luo Cheng came in and looked around for Lu Zhen. Seeing the visitor, Su Shangnan asked curiously, Uncle Qiu, why are you here? Qiu Daji said. Shangnan, has Lu Zhen come out? Not yet. The battle has just ended. The settlement should be still in progress. It will be out soon. Su Shangnan said. Luo Cheng said excitedly. There's no rush. It's okay to wait a little. Su Shangnan looked at Luo Cheng, feeling familiar, and asked Qiu Daji, Uncle Qiu, who is this? Qiu Daji replied. This is Luo Cheng, Senior Luo, the master of my new martial arts school. Luo Cheng. Su Shangnan seemed to remember something. Is he the Luo Cheng who is famous in the military? Su Xingnan's grandfather was a general in the army. She had been with her grandfather since she was a child and often heard news related to Luo Cheng. Qiu Daji smiled and said, Yes, it is Luo Cheng who is very famous in the army. Su Shangnan looked excited and quickly said politely to Luo Cheng, Hello, Senior Luo. My name is Su Shengnan. I grew up in a military compound. I often hear stories about you. Luo Cheng is a hero in the army, a person at the pinnacle of the extreme martial arts realm. She has heard stories about one man defending a city since she was a child. Su Shengnan also admired such heroes very much. He didn't expect to see them with his own eyes today. Luo Cheng nodded lightly towards him and did not reply. There's no need to say anything to a junior you don't know. Seeing that the other party ignored him, Su Shengnan couldn't say anything. He came to Qiu Daji and asked curiously, Uncle Qiu, why did Senior Luo Cheng suddenly come to the preparation room of our Shuijing High School? Qiu Daji smiled and said, Do you still remember that I told you that I would open a new martial arts gym? Su Shengnan nodded. Qiu Daji continued, A new martial arts school must have not only masters, but also disciples. Master Luo is waiting for his new disciple. New disciple? Su Shengnan was surprised. Is it Lu Zhen? Qiu Daji smiled and said, Not yet, but it should be soon. Hearing this, Su Shengnan had a look of envy on his face. Waited for a while. Lu Zhen finally came out of the battlefield and returned to the preparation room. As soon as he appeared, a strange middle-aged man immediately walked towards him. Hello, Lu Zhen. My name is Luo Cheng. Are you willing to become your teacher? Luo Cheng went straight to the topic and said with excitement. Ah! Lu Zhen looked at him, confused. Who are you? Do we know each other? Luo Cheng smiled awkwardly. Sorry, I was so excited that I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Luo Cheng, the 18th generation successor of Wu's sect. At the same time, he is also a powerful person at the pinnacle of the extreme martial realm. Your talent is very good. I am very satisfied. Are you willing to become your teacher? Listening to his words, Lu Zhen was a little surprised. This middle-aged man is actually at the peak of the extreme martial realm? Qiu Daji came over and said, Lu Zhen, do you remember what I told you last time about opening a new martial arts gym? Lu Zhen nodded. I know, Qiu Daji continued. This is the master of the new martial arts school I invited. Master Luo is a very famous martial artist in our Chinese martial arts circle. He once served in the army and made great military exploits. He also had a glorious record of defending a city with one man. He is very famous in the army. At the same time, he is also a descendant of the Wu sect, and his signature martial arts Wu technique is famous far and wide. Many people want to be his disciples, but can't. You're the first member of my martial arts club, and you are also the most talented one. Of course, I will be the first to introduce you to him. You are right to take him as your master. After listening to Qiu Daji's words, Lu Zhen thought for a while and said directly, Uncle Qiu, thank you for your kindness, but I have no plans to become a disciple yet, so I can only say sorry. Lu Zhen's answer surprised Luo Cheng. I had rejected so many people who wanted to be my disciples, but I didn't expect that I would be rejected when I took the initiative to recruit a disciple. He thought that Lu Zhen might be surprised or hesitant, but he never thought that he would refuse so decisively. Qiu Daji quickly said, Lu Zhen, don't refuse in a hurry. Master Luo is a strong man at the pinnacle of the extreme martial arts realm, and he also has extremely powerful martial arts. Worship him as your teacher, and your future martial arts journey will be much easier. There are only advantages and no disadvantages. Many people want to become a disciple, but can't. You have to think clearly. Lu Zhen replied without hesitation. I'm sorry, Uncle Qiu. I still said the same thing. I have no intention of becoming a disciple for the time being. In my opinion, apprenticeship is a very serious matter that requires careful consideration and cannot be decided in 1 or 2 sentences. Hearing this, Luo Cheng's heart suddenly buzzed. These words are so familiar, as if I have heard them somewhere. Chapter 67, the final of the individual competition. Lu Zhen had already talked about this, and Qiu Daji didn't know what to say for a while. Instead, Luo Cheng laughed heartily. Okay, be more serious. Apprenticeship requires caution. You and I have just met for the first time. It's really a bit abrupt for me to ask you to become my disciple before you know me well. You're still playing, so I won't interrupt you for now. Boss Q, let's go. Don't disturb others' rest. After saying that, Luo Cheng left with Qiu Daji. After they left, Su Shengnan walked over with a puzzled look on his face. She asked Lu Zhen, "That's a strong man at the peak of the extreme martial arts realm. You refused without even thinking about it." Su Shengnan was very confused. It was a great honor to be accepted as a disciple by such a strong man. Others dream of joining his family. So how come you still look down on them? Lu Zhen smiled and said, "Senior Luo is indeed very strong. But so what? I don't understand him, and he doesn't understand me. Has he ever understood my character, and how I am as a person? It would be too childish to accept me as a disciple just because of my talent. In history, there have been many talented apprentices who deceived their masters and destroyed their ancestors. And there were also many strong masters who tricked their apprentices. There are so many examples. You have to be careful when becoming a disciple and don't do it casually." After hearing what Lu Zhen said, Su Shengnan felt that it made sense, and for a moment he didn't know how to refute it. In the end, she had no choice but to nod and admit, "You are right. You must be careful when becoming a disciple." Other side. Luo Cheng and Qiu Daji were on their way back to the spectator seats. Qiu Daji said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Master Luo. I didn't know Lu Zhen would refuse so decisively." Luo Cheng waved his hand and said with a smile, "It's not your fault. If Lu Zhen agreed without even thinking about it, I would be very happy, but I would only be happy. He decisively rejected me and asked me to take a closer look. It means that he doesn't care about my identity, nor my strength, nor my unique martial arts. What he cares about is the master-disciple relationship. This quality is very rare. When a person like this joins any sect, he will do his best to be loyal to the sect. I will never do anything to endanger the sect and deceive the master and destroy the ancestors. At least I'm sure Lu Zhen won't. This is more valuable than his talent." Hearing Luo Cheng's praise of Lu Zhen, Qiu Daji couldn't help but smile. "Indeed. I heard that when he first entered Shuijing High School, the principal of Longting High School spent a lot of money but failed to lure him away. It shows how much he values friendship." However, Qiu Daji changed the topic and continued, "If Lu Zhen is such a good seedling, let him go like this. Wouldn't it be a pity?" Luo Cheng smiled and said, "Let it go. I didn't say let it go. I've been looking for so many years and finally found a disciple I am satisfied with. I won't let it go just because he refuses. It will naturally take some time to accept such a genius as a disciple. Take your time. I'm not in a hurry. He will agree after he gets to know me thoroughly." Qiu Daji and Luo Cheng returned to the spectator seats. Wang Dexing and Zhang Kaibing immediately pulled Qiu Daji to the corner and asked how the situation was. "How about it? Did Lu Zhen agree?" Wang Dexing said expectantly. Qiu Daji shook his head. Lu Zhen refused. "What?" Wang Dexing and Zhang Kaibing were surprised. Zhang Kaibing said, "That's Senior Luo, a strong man at the peak of the extreme martial realm. Why did Lu Zhen refuse?" "Lu Zhen thinks you need to be careful when becoming a disciple." Qiu Daji told them what had just happened. After listening, Zhang Kaibing and Wang Dexing were thoughtful. Wang Dexing said, "Lu Zhen is right. We are too anxious. Apprenticeship is a very important thing. It can't be decided in 1 or 2 sentences. Senior Luo plans to accept Lu Zhen as a true disciple. Naturally, he cannot accept apprentices in the same way. Apprentices can only call their mentor master. As for the true disciples, they should be called master. The so-called master is also a teacher and a father. The relationship between master and disciple is no different from that of an ordinary father and son. It is not only necessary to teach martial arts, but also to teach the disciples morals, words, and deeds. When something happens to a disciple, you have to uphold justice and stand up for the disciple. And the master is only responsible for teaching martial arts. You pay, and I'll teach you my martial arts skills. After you finish studying, there will be nothing between us." It's understandable that Lu Zhen doesn't want to be so casual. Zhang Kaibing and Qiu Daji agreed with Wang Dexing's words. Qiu Daji said, "Although Lu Zhen refused, Master Luo has not given up the idea of accepting disciples. But Lu Zhen doesn't know Master Luo well yet, so he probably won't agree to it in a short time. This requires you to do more ideological work on Lu Zhen. Being able to become Master Luo's true disciple is also a good thing for Lu Zhen. Wang Duxing and Zhang Kaibing nodded. Understood. We know what to do. Keep watching the game. It's not too late to talk after the game. Then, several people turned their attention to the big screen again. After the 10th group's competition, the battles of all groups ended completely. Soon, the final stage of the individual competition began. The host said, "The final battle of this Zhenhai High School Martial Arts individual competition is about to begin. Please prepare the 100 players who have advanced." The final part also adopts the Battle Royale mode. Even before the battle started, the audience was already extremely excited. In a competition with tens of thousands of people, only the last 100 are left. Those who can advance are the elite martial arts high school students in Zhenhai City. This is also the most exciting part. I really can't wait. In the previous 10 group matches, because there were too many people, the strength gap was relatively large. There are almost no exciting battles to be seen, and these last 100 people are the strongest players in the entire competition. The battle between them was much more exciting than the previous group stage. The audience was looking forward to it, but the other contestants were a little depressed. After Lu Zhen showed his level at the 5th level of the Mortal Martial Realm, he almost undoubtedly secured the championship. Then others can only serve as background boards, especially Xia Fangyu. After learning about Lu Zhen's true strength, he suddenly had the idea of giving up the game. He had a problem with Lu Zhen, and Lu Zhen would never let him go. Rather than letting him humiliate himself in the game, it is better to retire directly and still retain dignity. But he quickly gave up on the idea. Without special circumstances, high school martial art competitions are not allowed to abandon the competition midway. Once you voluntarily abandon the game, you will be treated as a deserter. If you can give up on small games, then on the real battlefield, you don't know what excessive things you will do. Chapter 68, It's Good to Hold a Grudge. Grass. If I can't beat you, why don't I run away? What's the big deal? I end up committing suicide. Do you want to humiliate me? No way. Xia Fangyu gritted his teeth and made a decision in his heart. Although he is not Lu Zhen's opponent, but he won't sit back and wait to be humiliated by Lu Zhen. Soon, the battle begins. Amidst the exclamations of the audience, the contestants turned into a ray of light and disappeared. The next second, an urban ruins battlefield appeared. This terrain is very suitable for Lao Lu to hide. There are dilapidated high-rise buildings everywhere. After Lu Zhen arrived, he looked at his surroundings. When he found no one, he ran in a random direction with a strange smile on his face. Xia Fangyu, here I come. In the real environment, due to legal reasons, warriors cannot fight with each other. So Lu Zhen couldn't do anything if he wanted to teach Xia Fangyu a lesson. But this is a virtual arena, and there are not so many rules. Lu Zhen would not let go of this opportunity to deal with him. Lu Zhen ran forward and soon met his opponent. I saw two people fighting in front of me. Lu Zhen's appearance shocked them. Not good. It's Lu Zhen. Run quickly. Seeing Lu Zhen, the two people who were fighting just now were so frightened that they turned around and ran away. If it were someone else, maybe they could still deal with it. But Lu Zhen is still at the 5th level of the Mortal Martial Realm, and this kind of strength is not something they can face head-on. Hey, don't be afraid. Seeing the two people running away, Lu Zhen couldn't help but want to laugh. With a quick step, he appeared in front of a person and blocked his way. Hello. Lu Zhen greeted him with a wicked smile. Hello, Lu Zhen. The man replied with a bitter look on his face. Lu Zhen asked, Have you met Xia Fangyu? The man immediately shook his head. I haven't seen it before. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Lu Zhen said lightly. The next second, a punch came out. Puff! The man's body was directly turned into bloody water by the punch, splashing to the ground. Then, Lu Zhen rushed towards the other person who had just escaped. The man's speed was not slow. After running a few kilometers, he stopped. Fortunately, Lu Zhen went after that guy. It should be safe now. The man leaned against the wall and took a deep breath, thinking he was safe. But before he could recover, a voice came from behind. "Brother, why are you running?" Lu Zhen walked over slowly with a smirk on his face. Seeing Lu Zhen, the man was shocked. He ran so far and caught up so quickly. Looking at the man's fearful expression, Lu Zhen smiled and said, "Have you seen Xiaofang? The man was stunned for a moment, then shook his head. "I haven't seen it before." Lu Zhen sighed softly. "I'm sorry then." As soon as he finished speaking, he punched directly. Puff! There was another pool of blood, and the corpse turned into light and disappeared. Then, Lu Zhen rushed forward again. Every time he saw someone, Lu Zhen would ask them if they had met Xiaofang. If you haven't seen them before, just punch them out. This scene made everyone watching the battle dumbfounded. How much resentment Lu Zhen has towards Xiaofang. He was chasing Xiaofang the whole time. If Xiaofang knew that Lu Zhen was chasing him, he would probably be scared to death. Listen to the audience. Wang Duxing shook his head and smiled. I thought he had forgotten the conflict with Xiaofang. I didn't expect him to hold a grudge. Xiaofang is going to be in trouble now. Lu Bo on the side smiled and said, "It's good to hold a grudge. Be upright and above board. Not like that white-eyed wolf like Xiaofang, who is ungrateful. You deserve to be chased by Lu Zhen." At the same time, the preparation room of Longting High School. When Long Tongue saw this scene, he became worried about Xiaofang. Lu Zhen is a lunatic. It's been so long. Is it necessary to keep holding on to it? If you don't play a good game, you will keep chasing Xiaofang. Is it interesting? Long Tongue cursed Lu Zhen in his heart. With Xiaofang's strength, even if he is not Lu Zhen's opponent, he can easily win second place. But if Lu Zhen keeps chasing him like this, he will be caught sooner or later. At that time, let alone the runner-up, whether it can be ranked in the top 10 is still a question. On the battlefield, Lu Zhen is constantly looking for new opponents, and those opponents, without exception, all chose to escape after being discovered by him. No, Lu Zhen met another opponent. As soon as he saw him, he turned around and ran away. The speed is quite fast. Lu Zhen quickly walked up and caught him directly. "Why are you running?" Lu Zhen asked. The man was about to cry, but had no tears, so he begged in a pleading tone, "Lu Zhen, brother Lu, I participated in the high school martial arts club for 3 years, and my results were outside the 20th place every year. This year, I managed to get into the top 10 right away. Okay, just let me go. I really want to experience what it feels like to be in the top 10. Seeing the man's pleading look, Lu Zhen felt dumbfounded. Was he that terrible? But thinking about it, I do seem a bit scary. No one who encounters me can run away. Lu Zhen smiled at him and said, "I can let you go, but you have to tell me where Xiaofang is first." Xiaofang. The man laughed happily instantly. "I know where he is. He's near the ruins of the old city to the west. I just saw him fighting with someone over there. I couldn't beat him, so I ran away. He should still be near the ruins of the old city." Upon hearing this, Lu Zhen quickly clicked on the map. Near the old town on the west side? It's the opposite direction from me. No wonder no one knows about it, even after I asked. Okay, since you told me Xiaofang's location, I'll let you go. After saying that, Lu Zhen didn't wait for the man to respond and ran toward the ruins of the old city to the west with wind at his feet. Seeing Lu Zhen's leaving figure, the man breathed a sigh of relief and collapsed on the ground in exhaustion. Finally gone. Scare me to death. No, we can't wander around like this anymore. We have to find a place to hide. He let me go this time, but I won't be so lucky next time. The ruins of the old city to the west. Su Shangnan was fighting an opponent, and the two fought extremely fiercely. 3 styles of flowing swords. Cut. Under Su Shangnan's domineering sword, the opponent was finally killed by her. Su Shangnan exhaled, slowly put the knife into its sheath, and was about to leave when a voice came from behind. As expected of Miss Su. The sword skills are really fierce. Qiu Fugue walked over slowly carrying a spear. Seeing the visitor, Su Shangnan sneered. "You guy, you haven't been eliminated yet." Qiu Fugue smiled and said, "You underestimate me. With my strength, not to mention the top 10, the top 20 is also easy. It's so easy to be eliminated." Su Shangnan said, "Then why don't you run away when you see me?" Do you want me to eliminate you with my own hands? Q Fugue smiled and said, We are so familiar. Can you bear to eliminate me? Su Shangnan sneered. This is an individual competition. No matter how familiar we are still opponents. Instead of giving the points to others, why not give them to me? As he spoke, Su Shangnan made a gesture as if he was about to draw his sword. Seeing this, Q Fugue sighed helplessly. It's so boring, I'm just kidding you. You actually pulled out a knife on me. I'm so sad. That's all. I'd better go somewhere else and have a look. Su Shangnan has a cold nature and doesn't like to joke. Q Fugue knew that in this competition environment, she would really draw a knife on him. Su Xingnan's sword skills are fierce, and it's really hard to win against him. Just when Qiu Fugue wanted to leave, a voice came from a high building. Yo, isn't this an old friend? Where are you going? Xiao Fangyu stood on the top of the tall building with two swords in his hands, looking at the two people below him with a playful expression. Seeing Xiao Fangyu, Su Shangnan and Qiu Fugue frowned, feeling something bad. Chapter 69, It's My Turn to Fight You. Brother Q, long time no see. Xiao Fangyu looked down at the two of them and said with a joking smile. Qiu Fugue forced a smile. It turns out to be Brother Xia. Haven't seen you for a long time. How have you been recently? It's okay, Xiao Fangyu said with a proud face. I just recently broke through the mortal martial realm. Qiu Fugue patted his head and said regretfully, Look at my memory. You have broken through such a big thing as the mortal martial realm. I didn't come to congratulate you immediately. My bad. You have broken through the mortal martial realm at this age, and your future is limitless. After the game is over, I'll treat you to dinner. Hearing this, Xiao Fangyu's vanity was greatly satisfied. He smiled and said, Then I'd like to thank you in advance. You're welcome. Q Fugue smiled and said, Then it's okay. Katsuo and I will leave first. Saying that, Qiu Fugue gave Su Shangnan a look. Su Shangnan understood immediately and quickly followed Qiu Fugue's pace. Xiao Fangyu is in the mortal martial realm, and neither of them combined is his opponent. If you don't leave, you will die, etc. Just when Qiu Fugue and Su Shangnan were about to leave, Xiao Fangyu's voice came from behind again. The two of them froze on the spot, not daring to take another step forward. Xiao Fangyu made a long jump and landed directly in front of them. He looked at the two of them with eyes like looking at prey. Brother Q, it's hard to meet us. Don't leave in a hurry. Qiu Fugue smiled and said, What's wrong, Brother Xia? Do you have anything else to say? Xiao Fangyu looked at Qiu Fugue and Su Shangnan jokingly and said, I've seen this girl before. Is she a new student recruited by your Shuijing High School this year? Qiu Fugue smiled and said, Haha, I didn't expect you to know Shangnan too. Yes, Katsuo just joined Shuijing High School this year and is in the elite class of the first year of high school. Hearing this, Xiao Fangyu's eyes changed instantly. You seem to have an A-level talent, right? Why don't such talented people come to our Longting High School? Xiao Fangyu looked at Su Shangnan in a questioning tone. Su Shangnan looked at him coldly and didn't reply. Xiao Fangyu asked again, Answer me. Why don't you come to Longting High School? The atmosphere changed instantly. Qiu Fugue felt bad and was about to say something calming. Su Shangnan directly pulled out his horizontal knife and pointed it at Xiao Fangyu. Who do you think you are and you dare to question me? Ignore you and you're getting angry. If you want to fight, just say it. What nonsense. Hearing this, Xiao Fangyu sneered. Brother Qiu, I wanted to let you go, but you also saw that she didn't give face. Then you can't blame me. Saying that, Xiao Fangyu slowly took out the two swords behind him. Seeing this, Qiu Fugue quickly said, No need, no need. Everyone is a friend. This is competition again. Isn't it good to be nice and get good grades? That's enough. Su Shangnan interrupted Qiu Fugue directly. Qiu Fugue, you are afraid of him, but I am not. It's not like he's going to die anyway. The worst he can do is be eliminated. An ungrateful person. How dare you pretend here? Do you really think that everyone is afraid of you and wants to please you? Su Shangnan was not afraid, holding a horizontal knife and pointing it at Xiao Fangyu. Although the realm is not as high as the other party, it does not mean that she will be afraid. Okay. Then just go to hell. Xiao Fangyu was pained in his heart by Su Xingnan's words. He broke through the defense on the spot and slashed at Su Shangnan with 2 swords in his hands. Su Shengnanli immediately resisted. Damn it, Qiu Fuguei cursed, raised a spear, and helped Su Shengnan resist. Seeing this, Xiao Fangyu said displeasedly, Qiu Fuguei, do you want to help her? Do you want to be eliminated too? Qiu Fuguei sneered. Xiao Fangyu, don't be so shameless. To give you face, I call you Brother Xia. You really take yourself seriously. Katsuo is right. You are just an ungrateful person. It's a shame that I was so kind to you. I gave you money, a car, and source stones. I also took you there many times with the big sword. It cost about 50 to 60 million. With that kind of money, even the dogs can nod and bow their tails to me when I feed them. You don't even give me face for such an important game. You are worse than a dog. When Xiao Fangyu was still in Shuijing High School, Qiu Fuguei showed his favor to him. I give him this and that every day and take him out for all kinds of fun. I didn't expect that this guy would fall out as soon as he said he would, without giving him any face. Even though Qiu Fuguei was usually aloof, he always seemed friendly to everyone. But if you don't give him face, he won't be polite to you. Since Xiao Fangyu doesn't give him face, he won't spoil him anymore. Listening to Qiu Fuguei's words, Xiao Fangyu felt insulted. The anger in his heart reached its peak. Okay. Since you want to die too, don't blame me. As he spoke, he clenched the 2 knives in his hands and attacked the 2 of them. Clang! Throat! Su Shangnan and Qiu Fuguei did not even reach the threshold for entry. Facing Xiao Fangyu's attack, they could only continue to defend. After all, Xiao Fangyu is a warrior in the mortal martial realm, and his martial arts has reached the 4th level. The 2 of them combined all their strength to defend, but they couldn't withstand Xiao Fangyu's attack. But Xiao Fangyu didn't seem to intend to eliminate them directly, but attack them in a playful way. Not only did it kill them directly, but it also made them unable to resist. Very torture. The 2 looked ugly, struggling to resist Xiao Fangyu's attacks, and their bodies were suffering from more and more wounds. That's it. I thought you were so fierce. Where's the arrogance just now? Rubbish. 2 ants who can be crushed to death at any time still dare to pretend in front of me. Xiao Fangyu stabbed the 2 men back dozens of meters. Bang! Su Shangnan and Qiu Fuguei hit the wall. The 2 of them were covered in injuries, and their physical strength was almost exhausted. They could no longer resist Xiao Fangyu's attack. Seeing the 2 people's embarrassment, Xiao Fangyu felt much better instantly. This is what you get for humiliating me. All right, I've had enough fun too. You could go die. Xiao Fangyu raised the long knife in his hand, wanting to understand the 2 of them thoroughly. Just then, a voice came from not far away. It's so intense. It seems I came at the wrong time. Hearing this, Xiao Fangyu turned around suddenly and looked towards a voice. When he saw the person who spoke, his eyes instantly showed fear. It's Lu Zhen. Seeing that person, Su Shangnan and Qiu Fuguei felt happy. It was like seeing the savior. Oh shit, you really know how to choose the right time. Xiao Fangyu immediately broke out and ran away at full speed. If he hesitated, he would be dead. In the entire battlefield, no one except Lu Zhen was his opponent, and he at least wanted to see Lu Zhen. If you don't want to be eliminated so quickly, you can only run away first. Seeing this, the corners of Lu Zhen's mouth raised slightly. You hit someone and you want to run away? Can you run away? Lu Zhen immediately used his strength and chased Xiao Fangyu. With the blessing of the 5th level of movement, he instantly arrived in front of Xiao Fangyu. So fast. Xiao Fangyu was shocked. He knew that the 5th level of movement would be fast, but he didn't expect it to be so fast. At such a long distance, he caught up with me without even taking a breath. Lu Zhen looked at him and said with a joking smile, "You just had a great time beating my friend. Then let me fight you now." Chapter 70, Retiring in Public. That's enough for me to catch you. Lu Zhen had a wicked smile on his face and looked at Xiao Fangyu as if he were looking at prey. Xiao Fangyu's expression changed drastically. The confidence he had when he bullied Su Shangnan and Qiu Fuguei has long been lost. Weren't you very arrogant when you beat them just now? Let me see your strength. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Zhen punched Xia Fangyu casually. As if facing a formidable enemy, Xia Fangyu immediately raised his swords to resist with all his strength. Clang! Lu Zhen's casual punch knocked Xia Fangyu back dozens of meters, and finally stopped when he hit the wall of the ruins. Is there such a big difference between the fifth and fourth dawn? Xia Fangyu's eyes widened in disbelief. He is at the peak of the fourth level martial arts, only a little bit behind the fifth level. He could feel that Lu Zhen's punch just now was very casual and easy. But this punch almost killed him. If he hadn't resisted with all his strength, this light punch could have sent him away. Xia Fangyu frowned, turned around, and wanted to continue running. Seeing this, Lu Zhen smiled disdainfully. You still want to run? He sprinted quickly and arrived in front of Xia Fangyu in an instant. Give up. You can't run away. It's time to end the battle between us. Lu Zhen looked at Xia Fangyu with disdain. He finally caught him, but he wouldn't let him run away like this. Damn it, I'll fight you. Xia Fangyu gritted his teeth. Since he couldn't run away, he wouldn't run away. He waved his two swords and slashed at Lu Zhen. Lu Zhen moved his body as if playing with a child, easily dodging every attack. That's it. If you only have this level of skill, you will be so disappointed. Lu Zhen's words stimulated Xia Fangyu, and his originally rhythmic attacks instantly became chaotic. Just keep slashing. Seeing this scene, Wang Daxing and Zhang Kaibing, who were watching the battle outside, sneered. Xia Fangyu has a bad mentality. So easily angered, Lu Zhen casually said a few innocuous words, and then he became so anxious. If we get to the real battlefield, we will suffer big losses. Zhang Kaibing smiled. Wang Daxing smiled and said, Xia Fangyu's growth path has been too smooth, and there is no decent opponent in the entire Zhenhai city. If it weren't for Lu Zhen, he would still be the champion of this high school martial arts meet. This makes him proud and irritable, almost looking down on warriors of his own age. This mentality is fatal to the growth of a warrior. Meeting a rival like Lu Zhen is a good thing. I hope he can learn a lesson from this and get rid of this bad habit. Zhang Kaibing looked at Wang Daxing curiously. Didn't this kid stab you in the back before? Why do you still say nice things for him? Wang Daxing said, I'm not saying good things for him, but learn from him. Xia Fangyu's talent is very good, but it is only limited to Zhenhai City. There are warriors in other cities outside of Zhenhai City who are even more ridiculously talented than him. People like Lu Zhen come from out of town. Xia Fangyu only has so much talent, but he has grown like this. And Lu Zhen's talent is much better than Xia Fangyu's, and he grows faster than him. This is a wake-up call for me. I must do a good job in Lu Zhen's ideological work. We must not let Lu Zhen become the second Xia Fangyu. Hearing this, Zhang Kaibing nodded in approval. As expected of the principal of the school, he really thinks more about teaching and educating people than I do. I have seen many geniuses with amazing talents, but all of them are so arrogant that they always look at people through their nostrils. And they all have the same problems. They are proud, irritable, and irritable. They will get extremely angry when others just make fun of them. On the battlefield, foreigners like this kind of people the most, because they can be easily solved without any conspiracy. The talent is so good that it masks other flaws. This is the biggest problem for all talented warriors. We need to be vigilant. The two of them made up their minds that they would never let Lu Zhen become such a person. In the battlefield, Xia Fangyu waved his swords at Lu Zhen angrily. But every time he attacked, Lu Zhen easily dodged it. Lu Zhen seemed to be toying with him and did not attack. He just watched him attack and then kept dodging. He was hit and missed, and he couldn't run away. This made Xia Fangyu extremely sick. A hole. Don't hide if you can. Fight me head on. Xia Fangyu couldn't help but curse. Lu Zhen chuckled. That's what you said. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Zhen's eyes changed, and he punched instantly. When Xia Fangyu saw this, he quickly resisted. Only a sound of bang was heard. His body was knocked back dozens of meters, and the punch caused his hand holding the knife to tremble, almost losing his grip. Just when he wanted to put up a defensive posture again, Lu Zhen had already rushed in front of him. Oops! Xia Fangyu felt bad. The next second, Lu Zhen grabbed his neck and picked him up like a chicken. You just tortured them. So much fun. Now it's your turn to be tortured. How do you feel? Lu Zhen looked at Xia Fangyu jokingly. With his current strength, he can kill the opponent instantly with one punch. But he didn't do that. An instant kill with one punch was too cheap for Xia Fangyu. He wanted to slowly torture Xia Fangyu, just like Xia Fangyu tortured Su Shangnan and Qiu Fuguwei. He tortured him until he couldn't bear it anymore, and then beat him to death. Xia Fangyu was pinched by the neck, his face turned red, and his whole body was limp and unable to lift his strength. He wanted to speak, but couldn't. Seeing this scene, everyone watching could not help but take a breath. Too cruel. It's just crushing. In front of Lu Zhen, Xia Fangyu can only be teased. Aren't they all in the mortal martial realm? How come a gap is so big? The audience was shocked by Lu Zhen's strength, and before they could be surprised for a long time, a scene appeared on the battlefield that surprised them even more. I saw that Xia Fangyu couldn't stand Lu Zhen's torture and directly chose to withdraw from the competition in public. Without committing suicide, Xia Fangyu retreated directly from the virtual arena. This also shocked everyone watching the battle. Is Xia Fangyu crazy? You actually quit the game at this time? Don't he know that high school martial arts does not allow withdrawal from the competition? If you withdraw from the competition, you will be treated as a deserter. You're going to be taken to jail. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that Xia Fangyu would do such a stupid thing. Longting couldn't help but cursed when he saw this scene. Madness. Waste. A hole. I'm really blind. Why did I end up with such a cerebral palsy? Longteng's face was so angry that he wanted to beat Xia Fangyu to death on the spot. Chapter 71. This person is worth getting to know deeply. It's over. Xia Fangyu's life is completely over. Wang Dixing shook his head helplessly. Zhang Kaibing chuckled and said, "Quit in public? How dare he? His behavior has constituted the crime of desertion. You will be judged by the Blue Star Law and taken to jail with this stain unless he can grow to the level of nuclear weapons. Otherwise, there will be no hope in this life." The 7-star civilization punished deserters very severely. Even if it is a small game, the punishment is not light. Either you don't participate in the competition and you become a deserter if you participate, then just wait to go to jail. Other side, Luo Chung couldn't help but shake his head when he saw this scene. The talent is good, but the character is not. Fortunately, I didn't take him as my disciple. If you can give up such a small competition in public, it won't be surprising if you do anything to harm the sect and deceive the master and destroy the ancestors in the future. At this moment, in Luo Cheng's heart, Xia Fangyu had been given a big X. It also confirmed his principles. You can't accept disciples casually. You have to be cautious. Accidentally recruiting someone like Xia Fangyu would be a disaster for the sect. In the battlefield, Xia Fangyu suddenly withdrew from the competition, leaving Lu Zhen stunned on the spot. Depend on, there is actually such an escape route. It's so hard to guard against. Lu Zhen had been very cautious in order to prevent Xia Fangyu from committing suicide. Unexpectedly, he actually quit the game directly. This was impossible to prevent. That's it. Since you choose to withdraw from the competition, you must bear the consequences of your withdrawal. It's not my fault. Lu Zhen dusted off his hands and walked in the direction of Su Shengnan and Qiu Fuguei. Coming to them, Lu Zhen asked, "How are you doing? Can we still continue playing?" The two of them were covered in injuries and very weak at the moment. Any warrior can easily defeat them. Qiu Fuguei smiled and said, "The injury is a bit serious, and my physical strength is almost exhausted. The consumables have been used up, but the injury is still serious. If I don't recover, I won't be able to hold on anymore." Lu Zhen nodded and then took out a square box from his body. Inside the box are consumables that can heal injuries and restore physical strength. I have some recovery consumables here that I can't use, so I'll give them to you. With that said, he handed the boxes to them. Su Shangnan said in surprise, "You gave it to us, but what about you?" Lu Zhen smiled and said, "I don't need it. It will be a waste to keep it. You guys should recover from your injuries quickly. I'll be here to guard you." Qiu Fuguei smiled and said, "Thank you so much, Brother Lu." Lu Zhen smiled and said, "You're welcome. Why do we still say such things in our relationship?" In Lu Zhen's heart, As long as you treat him well and don't stab him in the back, he will repay you with the same treatment. Qiu Fugue and Su Shangnan were from the same school as him and were teammates in the team competition, so they treated him well. They were in trouble now, and Lu Zhen naturally couldn't just ignore it. Qiu Fugue and Su Shangnan took the consumables given by Lu Zhen with moved faces and started using them. And Lu Zhen was standing by to protect them from being attacked during the recovery process. After guarding for a short time, the two men's injuries finally improved and their physical strength recovered a lot. "How's it going? Are you feeling better?" Lu Zhen asked. Su Shangnan said with a grateful face, "I'm 70 to 80% better, and my physical strength has recovered a lot. There's no big problem anymore." "Thank you, Lu Zhen." Lu Zhen smiled and said, "That's it. Then I'll leave. Be careful. Don't be attacked by others." Qiu Fei said, "Lu Zhen, aren't you with us?" Lu Zhen said, "No, the game is not over yet. We are also opponents. I'm relieved that your injuries are healed. If other players see us acting together, they will report us for malicious teaming." After speaking, Lu Zhen waved his hand and left directly. Looking at his leaving figure, Qiu Fugu couldn't help but sigh. The differences between people are really different. That be Di Xiaofang Yu. I gave him so much money and treated him so well. I'll fall out with him whenever I say I'm going to fall out with him. No face given at all. As for Lu Zhen, I only invited him to dinner a few times and gave him some cheap purple source stones. But he never had any contempt for me. Even though he has reached the mortal martial realm now, his martial arts and body skills have reached the 5th level. Everyone calls me Brother Q. Lu Zhen is a person worth getting to know deeply. Su Shengnan nodded in agreement. Her previous view of Lu Zhen was that he was a genius with great talent. Treat Lu Zhen only as a classmate and a friend, with no other thoughts. But after this time, her view of Lu Zhen changed drastically. He became more and more curious about Lu Zhen. The game continues. Without Xiaofang Yu as a goal, Lu Zhen seemed a bit bored. I can only wander around casually and kill a few more opponents to gain points. Before I knew it, there were only 2 people left in the game. Su Shengnan and Qiu Fugue didn't know when they were eliminated. Lu Zhen didn't think much about it. After all, they weren't that strong. It's best if you can enter the finals, but it's normal if you can't. Where are the people? Where have you gone? By the final round, the map had become very small. The final circle is a ruined high-rise building. But Lu Zhen searched for a long time and still couldn't find the final opponent. The only possibility is that the opponent is hiding somewhere and dare not show his face. Depend on, he's actually a 6th man. Then don't blame me. Lu Zhen jumped over the ruins and punched the ruined tall building with all his strength. Drink! Bang! One punch directly shattered the entire ruined high-rise building. The tall building collapsed suddenly, and Lu Zhen pricked up his ears to look for strange sounds. For a moment, he heard the sound of human breathing. Found you! Lu Zhen rushed towards a corner and grabbed the scattered ruins. The hidden 6th man was brought out directly. You're pretty good at hiding. It took me a long time to look for it. Lu Zhen looked at him and smiled. The man chuckled at Lu Zhen and said, I still want to make some points. I didn't expect you to find me so soon. I won't bother you to do it. I will kill myself. The 6th man knew that he was no match for Lu Zhen, so he took out his sword and wiped his own neck without hesitation. With his suicide, the game ended. At the end of the game, Lu Zhen survived to the end and ranked 1st in points, successfully winning the championship of this year's high school martial arts meet. Game over. Congratulations to Lu Zhen for winning 1st place. As the host's voice sounded, the scene erupted in cheers like a tsunami. Lu Zhen. The audience kept chanting Lu Zhen's name to congratulate him on winning the competition. Chapter 72, Why Doesn't Anyone Believe It? Win. Lu Zhen wins. Our Shuijing High School finally won. Wang Desheng and Lu Bo were very excited when they saw this scene again. The resentment that had been suppressed by Longting High School for many years was finally vented at this moment. Congratulations, Shuijing High School is finally proud. Zhang Kaibing on the side was happy for them. Wang Desheng said with emotion, Yes, I am finally proud for once. Thanks to Lu Zhen for all this, although it was already known from the beginning that Lu Zhen's victory was a sure thing. But when the moment of real victory came, I couldn't help but be excited. Wang Dexing said excitedly, "From today on, Shuijing High School will be the best martial arts high school in Jinhai City. With the recruitment of Lu Zhen, plus this year's results, I can't imagine how popular the subsequent sponsorship and enrollment will be next year." Longting High School Lounge. Longting looked at this scene with a grimace. It's over. It's completely over. How are we going to explain this to the school directors and sponsors this time? The reason why Longting High School is so rich is because they win the championship every year, so they have many sponsors. It can provide students with various welfare benefits and attract more outstanding martial arts students. This kept snowballing and led to the current situation. But from now on, Longting High School will step down from the throne of number one. Sponsors will leave one after another, changing the sponsorship target from Longting High School to Shuijing High School. In such a vicious cycle, Longting High School will become worse and worse, while Shuijing High School will become better and better. At this moment, Longting's heart was filled with regret. He regretted why he gave up on Lu Zhen, a genius. Why not work harder to dig him out? Otherwise, the current championship will be theirs. But no matter how much I regretted it, it was already too late. In the lounge of Shuijing High School, everyone was very happy after seeing Lu Zhen win the championship. "Monitor, are you tired? Let me rub your shoulders. Let me massage your legs." After Lu Zhen returned to the lounge, every student, like a coward, treated him with all kinds of courtesy. Although Lu Zhen was embarrassed under their strong request, he could only reluctantly accept their various overtures. If they win the championship, Shuijing High School will get better and better in the future, and they will also rise to heaven because of it. Since they are happy, there is no need to spoil their happiness. After the individual competition, soon it was the team competition. Due to Xia Fanyu's problems, Longting High School was unable to continue participating and had to abandon the competition. And in Shuijing High School, with Lu Zhen as a big player, it would be difficult to lose. In the end, thanks to Lu Zhen's killing spree, Shuijing High School also successfully won the team championship. Congratulations to Shuijing High School for winning the individual and team competitions. Please invite the winning contestant to come on stage to receive the award. The host's voice sounded. Lu Zhen stepped onto the podium. There were warm cheers from the scene. "Double champion! Our Shuijing High School also has this day. I'm so happy." Wang Dexing looked at this scene with tears in his eyes. He looked at Lu Bo and said, "Director Lu, have all Lu Zhen's games been recorded?" Lu Bo shook his head and said, "No, the recording function cannot record at all." "Can't record? What's going on?" Wang Dexing was stunned for a moment. Lu Bo said, "I don't know. Other people's perspectives can be recorded." Once Lu Zhen's scene was involved, an abnormality occurred, and the recording was immediately interrupted. "Is there such a thing?" Wang Dexing frowned slightly, thoughtfully. He seemed to have thought of something and immediately found Zhang Kaibing. He asked, "Old Zhang, you have to give me an explanation." Zhang Kaibing smiled and said, "What's wrong?" Wang Dexing said, "The recording function is working perfectly. How could it suddenly fail? Only Lu Zhen's scene cannot be recorded, but everyone else can. It seems like someone deliberately prevented Lu Zhen from being recorded." Zhang Kaibing smiled and said, "You really want to record Lu Zhen's scene?" "Of course." Wang Dexing said, "This is the first time Shuijing High School has won the championship. Of course I have to record such an important moment. And I also plan to make this video a must-see video for every new class of students who enter the school." Zhang Kaibing said, "Then I want to tell you that your plan will fail." "What do you mean?" Wang Dexing frowned. Zhang Kaibing said, "I know you're excited about Lu Zhen winning the championship, but please don't be excited yet. Calm down. Let me ask you, Lu Zhen is broken through the mortal martial realm, and his martial arts level has even broken through the 5th level. At his age and reaching this level, do you know what the consequences will be if word spreads?" Hearing this, Wang Dexing's eyes suddenly opened, and his whole body reacted instantly. If word gets out, it will definitely cause a sensation. It will even alarm alien races. Zhang Kaibing smiled and said, As long as you understand, I won't say anything unnecessary. Wang Dushing nodded. You are right. I was really so happy that I forgot about this. Lu Zhan showed at this high school martial arts meeting that he was still at the 5th level of the mortal martial arts realm. At his current age and talent. After the game, it will definitely cause a sensation in China and even Blue Star. You must know that Dugu Tianzong, the strongest person in the 7-star civilization, could not reach this level at the age of 15. But Lu Zhan reached it. This shows that Lu Zhan has a talent comparable to that of Dugu Tianzong. Future achievements will definitely not be lower than the quasi-god realm. This kind of astonishing genius is enough to shock other races. If he were allowed to grow up, it would be an absolutely devastating blow to the alien race. Assassination is inevitable. But now Lu Zhan's game content cannot be recorded. That is to say, without video, there is no evidence. If you want to spread it, you can only spread it by word of mouth. Even if you hear rumors, you will just treat them as rumors, except seeing it with your own eyes. Otherwise, no one would believe that one could reach the mortal martial realm at the age of 15, let alone reach the 5th level. Dugu Tianzong couldn't do it back then. It was even less possible for others. And so it is. After the high school martial arts meet in Zhenhai City, there are countless posts on the internet related to this competition. Shocking. A 15-year-old martial artist in Zhenhai City has reached the mortal martial realm, the 5th level. The 15-year-old martial artist's finger dexterity is at the 5th level, and the widow next door was so frightened. The girl cried all night because the 15-year-old boy was in the mortal martial realm. Countless posts appear online, but netizens remain skeptical. Netizen 1. A 15-year-old mortal martial arts realm? Still at the 5th level. You really think I'm stupid? You might as well believe that I am Qin Shi Wang if you believe this. Netizen 2. Is the current media so limitless? You dare to take a title like this for cerebral palsy. Do you really think that netizens are fools? Netizen 3. Damn you for making headlines. Who doesn't know how to make things up? If you have the ability, put out the video. Don't just open your mouth. Netizens in Zhenhai City were on the verge of tears. It's true. I was at the scene. Why doesn't anyone believe it? Chapter 73, Contract Disciple. Lu Zhan's name has become popular on the internet again, but this time is different from previous alien invasions. Previously, it was an official commendation conference with live broadcast and video, and the leader himself came. Few doubt its authenticity. But this time, in addition to some posts and articles on the internet, there were also claims made by local netizens in Zhenhai City. No one has seen the video of the game, and without video, there is no evidence. Naturally, no one believed that Lu Zhan could reach the ordinary martial arts realm at the age of 15 and even the 5th level. After all, that's too outrageous. Lu Zhan became popular on the internet for a few days and then disappeared. But in Zhenhai City, his reputation is still very loud. Since Lu Zhan won the championship, the situation of Shuijing High School has become better and better. Because Xia Fangyu suddenly withdrew from the competition and committed the crime of desertion, he was arrested on the same day. And because of him, Longting High School's reputation plummeted. Many sponsors canceled their sponsorship and switched to Shuijing High School. Wang Dushing has been very busy since the competition ended. We receive many sponsors who come here every day. In just these few days, we have received dozens of sponsors. The sponsorship fee is as high as tens of billions. Shuijing High School has completely taken off. Many talented student warriors also chose to change jobs and transfer from other schools to Shuijing High School. Some came for the treatment, but more came for Lu Zhan as a person. Because of Lu Zhan's renewed popularity, he is surrounded by fans every day just to see his face. Now, whenever he leaves the woman compound, he will be swarmed by many fans, vying to take pictures and get his autograph. Lu Zhan was very annoyed. I'm just an ordinary warrior. Why do I act like a celebrity? With no other options, Lu Zhan could only stay at home and practice every day. The other side, Qiu Daji has been very happy since Lu Zhan won the championship. He has asked the workers to work overtime to speed up the completion and plans to open the new martial arts school during this period of time. Taking advantage of the period when Zhen was extremely popular, they recruited students crazily and made huge profits. But he had a good idea, but was stuck at Zhen's level. Luo Chang came to talk to Zhen several times, wanting to take him as his disciple. But Zhen always sticks to his principles. Don't become a disciple easily. This also gave Qiu Daji a headache. If Luo Chang cannot accept Zhen as his true disciple, he will not accept other apprentices. The plan for the new martial arts school will have to be put on hold. Zhen has only been popular for this period of time. If we don't take advantage of this period to open a new martial arts school, it would be a huge loss. Although he can make some money by opening another store later, for businessman Qiu Daji, profiting less means losing money. So, after thinking about it, Qiu Daji came up with a solution that would satisfy both parties. This day, Qiu Daji brought Luo Chang to Zhen's villa again. Grandma Zhen, we are here again. When they arrived at the villa, Grandma received them personally. You guys are here to see Asian again. He is practicing. I will go and call him now. Grandma was very happy to see the visitor. Since living conditions have improved, my grandmother rarely looks sad. She has gained a lot of weight and is in a very good mental state. Soon, Zhen came out of the practice room, wiped the sweat off his body, and came to the reception room. Uncle Qiu, Senior Luo, why are you here again? Zhen was not surprised to see them. This is already the 10th time they have visited in the past few days. You guys chat. I'll prepare something to drink for you. Knowing that they were going to talk about business, Grandma left wisely. After Grandma left, Zhen looked at them and said, if you still want to persuade me to become a disciple, I still want to say sorry. Senior Luo, it's not that I look down on you. I also admire your deeds. It's just that I really have no intention of becoming a disciple for the time being. I hope you understand. Based on Zhen's current conditions, he is not short of money or martial arts. There is absolutely no need to become a disciple. Becoming a disciple would not only be of no benefit to him, but would also be a burden. Unless the opponent is a quasi-god with status and strength like Shan Jijing, Zhen might still consider it. Zhen, you misunderstood. I'm not here to take on a disciple, but to discuss business with you. Luo Chang smiled. Business talk. Zhen was a little surprised. Luo Chang quickly gave Qiu Daji beside him a look and told him to speak quickly. Qiu Daji smiled and said, Zhen, we know that you are a very principled person. Being a disciple is very important to you, and you will not become a disciple easily. We will not force you to become a disciple. We came here today to discuss things with you. Are you willing to become a contract disciple of the new martial arts school? Contract disciple? What is this? Zhen felt strange. This was the first time he heard this word. Qiu Daji smiled and said, the so-called contract disciple is exactly what the name suggests. During the contract period, you are a disciple of the martial arts school. It's different from ordinary martial arts apprentices. Apprentices need to pay tuition to the martial arts gym to learn the art. But contract disciples don't need it. Not only do you not need to pay tuition, but you also don't need to become a teacher. The relationship between the contract disciple and the martial arts school is just an employment relationship. After the contract expires, there will no longer be any relationship between the two. It's just like an ordinary boss recruiting workers. Hearing this, Zhen felt something interesting and asked, what do the contract disciples need to do? Qiu Daji continued. You may not know that opening a new martial arts gym is a very difficult thing, especially in Zhenhai City, a city with an average martial arts environment. It's even more difficult to open a martial arts gym. There are not many local martial arts schools, only a few. Opening a new martial arts gym is taking away their jobs. Do you think they will agree? So, when a new martial arts gym opens, those old local martial arts gyms will definitely come to compete. This is a rule that has lasted for hundreds of years. This is not only true for our Zhenhai City, but also for the entire country of China, Blue Star, and even the 7-star civilization. If you want to open a new martial arts school, you must have real skills. You have to conquer all the local martial arts schools and let them recognize you. Then you'll be qualified to open a new martial arts gym. Zhen nodded to express understanding. This is indeed what opening a martial arts gym is like. The number of warriors is smaller than that of ordinary people. There are even fewer martial artists who have the conditions to sign up for a martial arts gym. There are not many apprentices in the first place. If you open a new martial arts gym to compete for apprentices, you are tampering with the interests of other martial arts gyms. No one else would agree. However, Lu Zhen still felt a little confused and asked, with Senior Luo's strength, there should be few people in Zhenhai City who can be his opponent. The directors of other martial arts schools should not be his opponents. In that case, why do you still have to worry about being kicked out? Chapter 74 Additional Requirements. Lu Zhen couldn't understand. Luo Cheng is at the peak of the extreme martial realm. If he hadn't lost an arm and left a hidden disease, breaking through the nuclear weapons realm would have been a certainty. How could such a strong man be afraid of being kicked out? Facing Lu Zhen's doubts, Qiu Daji smiled and said, "You may have misunderstood. I don't understand other places, but in our Blue Star, it's not the owner who plays the game. But let the disciples who have been taught play. Let the disciples kick." Lu Zhen was surprised. He remembered, weren't the masters doing the kicking on TV? Why do you still let your disciples go to the gym? Qiu Daji explained, the quality of a martial arts gym depends on the disciples in addition to the master. Aren't apprentices coming to the martial arts gym to learn skills, just to become stronger? But who says that a master with a high level of knowledge will definitely be able to teach others? Some martial arts masters are very high level, but they are not good at teaching martial arts, which is a disaster for apprentices. Although some martial arts masters are not very advanced, they have their own unique understanding of teaching martial arts. The apprentices I taught are all ridiculously strong. In Yinshui City, next door to Zhenhai City, there's a martial arts master who teaches swordsmanship. His realm is only the extreme martial arts realm, but the martial arts level of each of the disciples he taught can easily break through the 4th level. Even though the 4th Dan level is not high, for an apprentice who is only in his teens, it is already a very high standard. Look at our high school martial arts meet in Zhenhai City this year. How many of them can reach the 4th level of martial arts? Except for Xia Fangyu and Yu, the monster, there seems to be no one left. This is enough to show the teaching level of that master. And some very high-level martial arts masters are not only bad at teaching martial arts, but they also look down upon apprentices with poor talent. In their view, whether you can learn or not is your own problem and has nothing to do with my teaching. Tell me, if you were an apprentice, which martial arts school would you rather go to? Listening to Qiu Daji's words, Lu Zhen was thoughtful. That seems to be the case. Being strong and being able to teach others are two different things. When you go to a cram school, you go to a cram school for the teacher who is better at teaching, rather than for the teacher with higher academic qualifications. Apprentices go to martial arts schools to learn skills in order to make themselves stronger. No matter how strong the martial arts master is, it doesn't matter to him. If you can't become stronger in your martial arts gym, no matter how high your martial arts master's level is, no one will want to go. What does this have to do with contract disciples? Lu Zhen asked. Qiu Daji replied. When the martial arts gym comes to compete, the strength of the disciples is compared, and the teaching level of the master is also compared to see who can teach the stronger disciples. But some new martial arts schools have just opened, and the disciples they have recruited have not yet been trained. In order to win in the kicking gym, new martial arts gyms usually hire some powerful young martial artists to serve as disciples. Let them help the new martial arts gym win in the kick gym. And these disciples are also called contract disciples. Contract disciples do not need to actually become a disciple, but they can also reasonably become martial arts disciples. It's a win-win situation for both parties. After hearing this, Lu Zhen finally understood. The so-called contract disciples, simply put, are the thugs for the new martial arts school. Help the new martial arts gym get through the challenge of kicking the gym. Lu Zhen smiled and said, "So, you want me to be a contract disciple of the new martial arts school?" Qiu Daji nodded. "Yes. During the contract, you don't really need to be a disciple of Master Luo, but you can also be a disciple of the new martial arts school. In this way, the new martial arts gym can be opened smoothly without violating your principles. It's literally the best of both worlds. What do you think?" Lu Zhen smiled and said, "Uncle Qiu, You're too polite. Isn't it just to help with the kickoff? For such a small matter, you can just tell me. You don't have to go to the door in person. What's more, I'm still a member of your martial arts club and get your annual salary every year. It's appropriate to help, Kyu Daji said with a smile. If it's just a general matter of dealing with playing games, it really doesn't need to be that troublesome. But this time the contract disciple has an extra add-on. Kyu Daji pointed to Luo Chung aside and continued, Master Luo, as the master of the new martial arts school, has an additional request. You don't have to become his master, but during the contract period, you have to learn his martial arts skills. And the martial arts skills learned cannot be passed on to outsiders casually. Hearing this, Lu Zhen felt a little strange. Isn't learning new martial arts a good thing for yourself? What kind of requirement is this? Luo Chung saw Lu Zhen's doubts and said, The martial arts I want to teach is the secret skill of my shadowless sect, shadowless technique. It's a very difficult martial skill to learn. It's not that difficult, and most people can't learn it. You can't learn it in just a few years. So, I plan to set the duration of this contract at 5 years. With your talent, you should be able to learn it in 5 years. After hearing this, Lu Zhen finally understood their purpose. Kyu Daji wants to be a thug in the new martial arts school, and Luo Chung wanted to learn his martial arts skills. There is no conflict between the two. A contract disciple can handle it. Kyu Daji continued, Of course, we will not let you be a contract disciple in vain. Becoming a contract disciple also requires your time and energy. We will provide you with corresponding compensation. With that said, Kyu Daji took out a contract and handed it to Lu Zhen. The remuneration for this contract is written on it. Lu Zhen took it and looked at it, and couldn't help showing surprise. 500 million a year. Isn't it just a matter of becoming a thug and learning martial arts skills at the same time? How much money was given? Kyu Daji smiled and said, You deserve so much money. Of these 500 million, 100 million is your reward for becoming a contract disciple of the new martial arts school. The remaining 400 million is your reward for learning Master Luo's martial arts skills. This 400 million is Master Luo's annual salary as a new martial arts master. But in order for you to learn from him, he is willing not to give you all of it, which shows how much he values you. Lu Zhen looked at Luo Chung in surprise. Senior Luo, is this too much? Luo Chung smiled and said, With my current strength and status, this little money is nothing to me. I didn't agree to boss Kyu to be the master of the new martial arts school just for the money. For me, finding a suitable person to inherit my martial arts skills is more important than anything else. Lu Zhen said, But I am not your true disciple, nor a disciple of the Wuying sect. Is it appropriate for you to pass on your martial arts to an outsider like me? Luo Chung smiled and said, What's inappropriate? Although I am the 18th generation successor of Wuying sect. But what really allows the shadowless sect to be passed down to this day is not the heirs, but the martial skill of shadowless technique. As long as the shadowless technique can continue to be passed down, what does it matter if you are a disciple of the shadowless sect? As long as the shadowless technique can continue to be passed down, all the previous heads will recognize my decision if they know about it. Chapter 75, Don't Blame Me for Being Unkind. If you want to learn the shadowless technique, a warrior's martial arts, body skills, and mental strength need to reach a balanced level. Only then can the true power of the shadowless technique be unleashed. But for warriors, not many can balance the 3 levels. Especially young warriors, there are very few. Luo Chung still doesn't know what Lu Zhen's mental level is. But just looking at his 5th level martial arts and 5th level body skills is enough to show his talent. It is not difficult to cultivate your mental power to the 5th level. Luo Chung is confident that as long as Lu Zhen is willing to learn, he can quickly reach the 5th level of Lu Zhen's mental power. It is not difficult to learn the shadowless technique. The difficult thing is whether Lu Zhen is willing to learn. As long as Lu Zhen is willing to learn, even if he is not his disciple, Luo Chung can accept it. Disciples and masters are all empty. The inheritance of martial arts is the important thing. Lu Zhen, are you willing to become a contract disciple? Luo Cheng looked at Lu Zhen expectantly, feeling extremely uneasy. Qiu Daji also looked at Lu Zhen with the same expression, waiting for Lu Zhen's reply. Lu Zhen looked at them, thought for a while, and said, "The remuneration in this contract is full of sincerity, and it's not a bad thing for me to learn another martial arts. Senior Luo, you don't even care about passing it on to me, an outsider. What else should I worry about? I promise you to become a contract disciple." Hear this reply. Luo Cheng and Qiu Daji instantly showed joyful smiles on their faces. "That's great. Let's sign the contract quickly." Luo Cheng couldn't wait to hand a pen to Lu Zhen. He was afraid that Lu Zhen would regret it the next second. Seeing Luo Cheng's anxious look, Lu Zhen could see his worry at a glance and couldn't help but smile. Then they took the pen and started signing, so that they would not go back on what they had promised, and their worries were overblown. Okay. With you joining the new martial arts school, there should be no problems. Then we won't bother you. I have to go back quickly to prepare for the publicity work. The new martial arts gym will be opened in a few days. Qiu Daji stood up happily. Luo Cheng also stood up and looked at Lu Zhen with a satisfied look on his face. "It's time for me to go back and prepare for recruiting apprentices." Lu Zhen stood up and sent them away. After they left, Lu Zhen quickly put away the contract. At this time, Grandma came out. "Why did they leave so quickly?" "I just cooked, and you didn't let them stay to eat," Grandma said. Lu Zhen said, "They had other things to deal with, so they left early." Grandma said curiously, "I saw them almost laughing from ear to ear when they left. This was not the case when they came here before." "What did you talk about this time?" Lu Zhen smiled and said, "We didn't talk about anything. I just did them a favor, and they gave me some money." Grandma asked curiously, "How much does it cost?" Lu Zhen smiled and said, "It's not much money. It's not worth mentioning." After saying that, without waiting for Grandma to continue nagging, she turned around and walked into the practice room to continue practicing. The Wu Ming sponsored him 1.2 billion, and he had another 200 million to become a member of the martial arts club. This 500 million is not too little for him, but it is not too much either. I'm not as excited as when I got the 1.2 billion. Qiu Daji and Luo Cheng were on their way back. Both were very happy. After Lu Zhen agreed to become a contract disciple, their subsequent plans could be launched smoothly. Qiu Daji looked at Luo Cheng standing aside and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Master Luo. I didn't think carefully about your visit to Zhenhai City this time. I didn't expect that Lu Zhen would refuse to become your teacher. Given your strength and status, giving you an annual salary of 400 million is already too little. In order for Lu Zhen to learn your martial arts skills, I asked you to put all this money into it. This is all my fault. I will let the company draw up another contract, and the 400 million will be mine. I will calculate your reward separately for you." Luo Cheng waved his hand and said, "No need. This 400 million is nothing to me. Not to mention that I asked for this 400 million to be given to Lu Zhen. How can I blame you? If anything, I should thank you. To be honest, I'm actually not very happy to open a martial arts gym in Zhenhai City. In a small place like Zhenhai City, the martial arts environment is average and there are few talented disciples. It's a bit humiliating for me to open a martial arts gym here. If you hadn't helped me in the first place, I definitely wouldn't have agreed to it. But now it seems that me agreeing to come to Zhenhai City is the most correct decision in my life. If I didn't come, I wouldn't be able to see a monster-like genius like Lu Zhen. With Lu Zhen's talent, he's among the top ones in the entire Blue Star and even the 7-star civilization. The shadowless technique will flourish in his hands." Qiu Daji asked, "But is it really okay? The shadowless technique is your sect's secret skill, after all. Is it appropriate for Lu Zhen to directly pass it on to you before he becomes his disciple?" Luo Cheng smiled and said, "To tell you the truth, when I learned the shadowless technique, I was not a disciple of the shadowless sect. The master who taught me the shadowless technique back then was not as strong as I am now. It's just that master is very kind to me and treats me like his own son. The martial art of shadowless technique has also helped me a lot, allowing me to turn the tables in many battles. Over time, I also developed feelings for the shadowless technique, and I happily accepted to join the Shadowless sect and become the 18th generation successor. I can very well understand what Lu Zhen is thinking now, because I was the same way back then. But don't worry, as long as I am sincere to him, he will accept the Shadowless sect. Hearing this, Qiu Daji was a little surprised. If Luo Cheng hadn't told him, he really wouldn't have known the secret. That's fine. Since you don't need it, Master Luo, I won't force it. We spent too much time convincing Lu Zhen. We will increase our promotional efforts in the next few days. We must let the martial artists in Zhenhai City know the news about the new martial arts gym as soon as possible. At the same time, we also want them to know that Lu Zhen, the hero of Zhenhai City and the champion of the high school martial arts club, is a disciple of our new martial arts hall. With a brand like Lu Zhen, there should be many disciples who want to join the new martial arts school. After the martial arts gym opens, we will be very busy. As Qiu Daji said, the news that a new martial arts gym appeared in Zhenhai City instantly detonated the entire martial arts circle. What shocked them even more was that Lu Zhen actually joined the new martial arts school. You must know that Lu Zhen is now a big star in Zhenhai City, and his every move will attract attention. The new martial arts school he joined also aroused the interest of many young martial artists. After so many years, Zhenhai City finally has a new martial arts gym. Moreover, Lu Zhen has joined, and the investor is Qiu Daji, the richest man in Zhenhai City. I can't imagine how luxurious this martial arts gym is. I also heard that the master of the martial arts school is still a strong man at the peak of the extreme martial arts realm. Damn it, these conditions are inferior to other martial arts schools in every aspect. No, I have to sign up quickly, otherwise it will be too late. Yes, I want to sign up too. For a time, the new martial arts school became a new star in Zhenhai City. Many young martial artists are trying their best to join the new martial arts school. There are even apprentices from other martial arts schools who, after seeing the scale and strength of the new martial arts gym, dropped out of school decisively and turned around to join the new martial arts gym. This made the old martial arts gym owners jump up and down in anger after learning about this incident. Lingfeng Martial Arts School, currently the best martial arts gym in Zhenhai City. As the owner of the gym, Tu Hongfei is also the president of the Zhenhai Martial Arts Association. After learning about this, he angrily smashed the teacup in his hand to the ground. Such a blatant attempt to steal an apprentice. It's simply too much. That's too much. You're going to destroy my job. Then don't blame me for being unkind. Chapter 76 Afternoon. Lingfeng Martial Arts School. In the conference room, at this moment, Tu Hongfei was sitting in the front seat with a gloomy expression. There are 4 local martial arts masters on the left and right below. There are a total of 5 martial arts gyms in Zhenhai City, and the owners of those martial arts gyms are all gathered in the conference room. One of the museum owners frowned and said, "Who doesn't know the rules of Zhenhai City? When opening a martial arts gym, you must report to our martial arts association in advance. Only if we agree can we open a new martial arts gym." Qiu Daji not only opened a martial arts gym privately, but also made the battle so big. Now, there are S for recruitment of his new martial arts school on the streets and on TV. Many of the apprentices in my martial arts school were deceived by him. The rest are also ready to move. President 2, Qiu Daji, is clearly trying to steal our jobs. Never be lenient. Another curator immediately stood up and echoed. That's right, never be lenient. If he succeeds this time, and someone else imitates him and plays like this, will our martial arts schools still survive? President 2, you're the president of our Zhenhai City Martial Arts Association. You have to make the decision for us. Seeing the excitement of several people, Tu Hongfei said with a gloomy face, "Everyone, I know you are very angry. I'm angry too. This new martial arts school is not only harming your interests, it is also harming my interests. I will never sit idly by. Qiu Daji is the richest man in Zhenhai City, and I have met him several times. He's a guy who can't afford to do anything early. Almost all industries in Zhenhai City are almost monopolized by him. He has set his sights on the martial arts industry this time. He has obviously been planning for a long time. Not only did we invite Luo Cheng, who was very famous in the military back then, to be the martial arts master, we also recruited Lu Zhen, a young man with a reputation as a hero, to be a martial arts disciple. This look is to eat the cake of Zhenhai City's martial arts industry in one bite. As expected of the richest man, he is ruthless in doing business. Since he wants to open a martial arts gym, we should accompany him. All the rules that need to be followed are arranged for him. I have asked people to prepare a letter of challenge, and it should have been sent to them now. The day they open is the day we come to play. According to the rules of this 7-star civilization, if you want to open a martial arts gym, you must first pass the gymnasium level. Hearing this, several other museum owners couldn't help but frown, and one of them said, "But I heard that Lu Zhen is now in the mortal martial arts realm, and his martial arts level has reached the 5th level. There should be no one among the young warriors in Zhenhai City who can be his opponent. I'm afraid it's not easy to play in this gym." Everyone nodded, expressing that they had the same concerns. Tu Hongfei sneered, "Since no one in Zhenhai City is his opponent, then find him an opponent from somewhere else." After hearing this, several people thought of something instantly. Someone said, "President Tu, do you want to call Lily back from Noah University?" President Tu nodded. "Yes, I called Lily yesterday, and she promised to come back to help. We should be able to reach Zhenhai City in the next few days." Noah University, the best martial arts university in Blue Star, is also the #1 university. Both the teaching staff and the talent of the students are far superior to other martial arts universities. Lingxiao University is the best martial arts university in China, but it is incomparable to Noah University. The students of Noah University are all the most talented warriors in Blue Star. Tu Hongfei has 2 daughters. The eldest daughter's name is Tu Lily, and the younger daughter's name is Tu Yingying. Tu Yingying is the girl who escaped from Yonla Hospital before. She only has A-level talent, which is not very good. But her sister Tu Lily is an S-level talent, and one of the top S-level talents. He didn't even have to go to high school, and was directly recommended to Noah University. At the same time, he also became a disciple of a strong man in the quasi-god realm from Noah University, and his future in martial arts was limitless. Tu Hongfei also secured his position as president of the Zhenhai City Martial Arts Association because of his eldest daughter. Otherwise, with his level of extreme martial arts, it would be impossible for other martial art gym owners to follow him. It is impossible for Lingfeng Martial Arts Gym to become the #1 martial arts gym in Zhenhai City. I looked at the rank display on the virtual arena, and Lily is only in the diamond rank. Can she do it? One of the museum owners wondered. Tu Hongfei smiled and said, "Just take a look at the rank in the virtual arena. Don't take it too seriously. Rank level cannot represent a warrior's strength. Real geniuses don't care about that illusory rank. Look at Blue Star's #1 Danny Lewis. How long has it been since he scored? His most recent battle record seems to be half a year ago. In the final analysis, the virtual arena is just a virtual battle, not a real battle. For true geniuses, after reaching a certain level, virtual combat is of little help to them. If you want to truly improve, you can only experience real battles yourself." Lily is practicing with her quasi-god realm instructor at Noah University. She is very busy every day and has no time to improve her scores. To get high points, I can only play 1 or 2 games in my spare time. You can check his record. The last time she scored points was a month ago. Now she has already entered the mortal martial realm, and her martial arts level has reached the 5th level. As long as she wants to, let alone falling stars, even the eclipse of the moon, or even the setting sun can easily go up. One of the museum owners was still doubtful, so he said, "Lily is someone we have seen since childhood, so her talent goes without saying. I'm just worried about that Lu Zhen. I heard that Luo Cheng attaches great importance to him, and will even pass on the shadowless technique to him. I think everyone should know the strength of the shadowless technique." Back then, Luo Cheng relied on this martial arts to shine in the alien battlefield, and even had a shocking record of defending the city with 1 man. I'm worried that if Lu Zhen learns this trick, Lily's chances of winning may be slim. Hearing this, Tu Hongfei couldn't help laughing. "Ha ha, your worries are too much. The shadowless technique is indeed very powerful, but it cannot be learned in a day or two. Luo Cheng's shadowless technique has been practiced for decades to achieve that kind of power. No matter how strong Lu Zhen's talent is, how powerful will it be once he learns it? As for Lily, following her quasi-divine mentor, she has the kind of strong guidance that Lu Zhen, who has just learned the shadowless technique, can't compare to. Even if Lu Zhen learns it, he still can't be Lily's opponent. This time around, we must teach those with ulterior motives some lessons. Let them know who has the final say in the local martial arts school. Qiu Daji wants to open a new martial arts gym, so the day he opens it will also be the day he closes down. Speaking of which, Tu Hongfei showed a sinister look on his face. Chapter 77, New Martial Arts School. Qiu's Martial Arts School. The name of Qiu Daji's new martial arts school, Luo Cheng, as the contemporary successor of Wu Ying's sect, is also the master of the new martial arts school. Qiu Daji originally wanted to name the new martial arts gym Wu Ying Martial Arts Gym, but Luo Cheng refused. He felt that he was just helping Qiu Daji, not reopening the sect. Taking this name would affect the reputation of Wu Ying's sect, so he firmly refused, and Qiu Daji couldn't force him. So he directly named the martial arts gym Qiu's Martial Arts Gym. After this period of publicity, there's an endless stream of apprentices who want to sign up for the new martial arts gym. As the master of the new martial arts school, Luo Cheng has absolute say in the enrollment. As long as he is dissatisfied, he will not accept even the connections Qiu Daji personally brought in. Luo Cheng requested that the first batch of apprentices in the new martial arts gym should not be too many, with a maximum of 20, and they must all be elites. Only the warriors with the best talent, strength, and financial ability can join the new martial arts school. As soon as this news came out, young warriors who wanted to join the new martial arts school complained wildly. But no matter how much they complained, it was useless. Who made the conditions of the new martial arts hall so good? If you want to join the new martial arts hall, you must meet the same conditions. On this day, Lu Zhen received a notice asking him to come to the new martial arts hall. He was told to let him meet the other brothers. So, Lu Zhen came to Qiu's martial arts school soon after receiving the notice. At this time, Qiu's martial arts gym has already been prepared and ready to open at any time. All that remains is to pick a good day. Lu Zhen, you're here. As soon as Lu Zhen arrived at Qiu's martial arts gym, Qiu Fugue walked up to him. Brother Qiu, you are here too. Lu Zhen greeted politely. Qiu Fugue said, "Don't call me Brother Qiu. From now on, I will be your junior brother. I can no longer call you by your name, but I will call you senior brother." Senior brother? Lu Zhen felt a little surprised. Qiu Fugue said, "Let's go. It's just time for you to meet your junior brothers." Lu Zhen followed Qiu Fugue into the training ground of the new martial arts hall. The training ground covers a large area, and all kinds of training equipment are top-notch. Moreover, there are medical personnel accompanying the training ground at all times to respond to emergencies at any time. To put it simply, he is professional, and he spent a lot of money just by looking at it. The first time Lu Zhen entered the training room, he saw a dozen boys and girls practicing. When they saw Lu Zhen, they immediately stopped what they were doing and greeted Lu Zhen in unison. "Hello, senior brother Lu." The sound was very loud, even a bit harsh. "Hello," Lu Zhen replied sheepishly. Then he looked at Qiu Fugue and said, "Why do they all call me senior brother?" Qiu Fugue said, "You are a contract disciple. Although you have not really become a disciple of Master Qiu, your level is still a disciple. Not only do you not have to spend money to come to the martial arts gym to learn skills, the martial arts gym also has to pay you. And they and I are not even considered disciples. We can only be considered apprentices. You can only come here to learn skills by paying money. The seniority of a disciple is naturally higher than that of an apprentice, so it is appropriate for us to call you senior brother." Lu Zhen said awkwardly, "But you seem to be older than me. Is it appropriate to call me senior brother?" Qiu Fugue smiled and said, "In martial arts, those who are masters are teachers. There is no such thing as age, only seniority. Even if you are only 1 year old, as long as you are a disciple and I am an apprentice, I have to call you senior brother." Hearing this, Lu Zhen nodded and smiled. I understand. The circle of warriors indeed looks at seniority, not age. Not to mention the circle of warriors. The same goes for interpersonal relationships. Lu Zhen had a distant relative who gave birth to a son, but in terms of seniority, Lu Zhen had to call him uncle. After this calculation, it is reasonable for these people to call themselves senior brothers. You can take a look. I'll call him Master Luo. Qiu Fuguei said, turned around and left. After he left, Lu Zhen wandered around the training room. Every time he passed by a junior brother, they would greet him politely, and Lu Zhen could only respond with a smile. At this time, he spotted a familiar figure. Ji Li, why are you here too? Lu Zhen was a little surprised when he saw an acquaintance. Ji Li smiled and said, Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Squad leader, senior brother Lu, we can practice under the same roof again. Lu Zhen smiled and said, Master Luo's enrollment requirements are not very high, aren't they? I'm curious. How did you get in with your talent? Ji Li's talent is not good. It can only be said to be average. This kind of talent is looked down upon by other martial arts schools, let alone the new martial arts school. Senior brother Lu, what you say is so offensive. Ji Li said, a little aggrieved. With my talent, I really am not qualified to join the new martial arts gym. Even if I join, I will still be at the bottom. I actually didn't want to come. It was my father who forced me to come, so I had to come. My dad and Master Luo have known each other for a long time. Master Luo reluctantly accepted me as an apprentice because of my dad's face, but he only agreed to let me be an apprentice for 3 months. If I haven't met Master Luo's requirements in 3 months, I will have to leave. I'm under a lot of pressure right now, Ji Li said with a bitter look on his face. Lu Zhen smiled and said, You will do whatever your father tells you to do. Are you so obedient? Ji Li pouted and said, If it were something else, I would definitely be rebellious. But this time my father threatened me. If I didn't agree, he would find me another stepmother and give me a younger brother. All my family's property has been passed on to my younger brother, and not a cent has been left to me. As you know, although my family is not as wealthy as the richest man, it is still considered wealthy. My biggest dream is to wait until death and become a rich second generation. The only reason I practice martial arts is to be able to marry 3 wives after I break through the realm of mortal martial arts. If it weren't for the sake of marrying more wives, I would have taken the cultural route long ago instead of suffering the hardship of martial arts. Lu Zhen chuckled. Your dad also does it for your own good. If you don't live up to your expectations on the big one, you will definitely have to practice the trumpet. Come on. After Lu Zhen comforted Ji Li for a few words, he went to look at other places. At this time, he met another acquaintance. Su Shangnan, you are here too. Lu Zhen was surprised to see an acquaintance again. Su Shangnan smiled and said, What? I feel surprised here. Lu Zhen nodded. It's indeed a bit surprising. I heard that you come from a martial arts family, and the elders in your family are all strong in martial arts. Why do you still need to go to a martial arts school to learn skills? Su Shangnan said, I definitely don't like other martial arts schools, but the master of this martial arts school is Senior Luo Cheng. My elders respect Senior Luo as a person and highly recognize his martial arts skills. He told me to come and learn from him. It might help my sword skills, so I'm here. I got Senior Luo's approval seriously and paid my tuition to join. It's not like Ji Li, who came in through connections. Lu Zhen asked curiously. I'm very curious. How much tuition do you apprentices need to pay? Chapter 78, let's start practicing shadowless technique directly. How much tuition do you need to pay? Lu Zhen asked curiously. Su Shangnan said, For someone with my talent and strength to meet the requirements, 1 month's tuition would cost 1,000 W. How much? Lu Zhen was a little surprised. 1,000 W? So much. Good guy, 1,000 W a month is 120 million a year. One apprentice costs 120 million, and with dozens of apprentices, this is worth several billion per year. Opening a martial arts gym is really profitable. No wonder Qiu Daji put so much effort into opening a new martial arts gym, even at the risk of offending the entire martial arts circle in Jinhai City. The profits here are really huge. Which industry can be so profitable? Su Shangnan continued. 1,000 W is already considered a small amount. My talent and strength can meet the requirements of Senior Luo to accept an apprentice, so the tuition fee only cost 1,000 W. Those who are less talented and stronger than me, some may need 2,000, 3,000, or even 50 million. Like that guy Ji Li, even though he got in through connections, his monthly tuition still costs 40 to 50 million. Hearing this, Lu Zhen was shocked. He had already thought that the profit of the martial arts school was very high, but he did not expect that the actual profit would be even higher. Comparing this, it seems that the contract fee I collected at the beginning was not particularly high. At this time, Master Luo walked in. Seeing Luo Cheng, everyone immediately stopped and said hello to Luo Cheng. You continue to practice and ignore me. Lu Zhen, come with me. Luo Cheng waved to Lu Zhen. Lu Zhen followed immediately. Following Luo Cheng, he came to Luo Cheng's private training room. After entering, Luo Cheng immediately closed the door, leaving only the two of them in the room. Luo Cheng said, "Have you all met those junior brothers just now? I've seen it before." Lu Zhen nodded. Luo Cheng continued, "In addition to calling you here this time, I want you to meet your new junior brother. I have some news for you." With that said, Luo Cheng took out an envelope from his pocket. Lingfeng Martial Arts School and 4 local martial arts schools came together to declare challenge. On the opening day, they will come to the restaurant to kick off the business. This is their letter of challenge. Take a look at it. It has the name of their disciple who is responsible for kicking the gym. Lu Zhen took the letter of challenge and read it. He didn't recognize many of the names, but there was one name that he seemed to have seen before. Who is this Tu Lily? I seem to have seen this name somewhere. Lu Zhen asked. Luo Cheng smiled and said, "He is the daughter of Tu Hongfei, the master of Lingfeng Martial Arts School. On the virtual arena's Zhenhai City rankings, it previously ranked first, but now you have surpassed me. It's her." Lu Zhen remembered instantly. Luo Cheng continued. "The main player they play this time is this Tu Lily. I heard from Boss Kiyu that this Tu Lily is also an amazingly talented warrior. I was recommended to Noah University at a young age. Now, I am a warrior in the mortal martial realm, and my martial arts level has reached the 5th level. And the person who taught her martial arts was a quasi-god realm expert from Noah University. Your opponent this time is not easy to deal with." As he said that, Luo Cheng couldn't help but frown. Lu Zhen was also a little surprised. Noah University? A student of a powerful quasi-god. Luo Cheng continued. "Although you are all in the mortal martial arts realm, your martial arts skills are all 5th level. But your current life level is too low. Even if she is in the same realm, with the same level of martial arts, if the difference in life levels is too big, she will still be unable to beat her. So, I plan to help you improve your overall strength during this period. Then I'll trouble you, Master Luo." Lu Zhen nodded, knowing that the opponent he was facing was not an easy one this time, and he had to go all out. Luo Cheng continued. "Your martial arts and body skills are all at level 5, but I don't know what your mental strength is yet. Before I help you formulate an improvement plan, I need to know your mental power first. Let's do this. Right here, you unleash your greatest mental power to attack me. Let me see what level of mental strength you have now." Lu Zhen nodded. "Then I would be rude." As he spoke, he began to gather his mental strength. I saw his sharp eyes and his palms gathered at his waist. The center of both palms continuously condenses light. Turtle School Qigong is brewing. Seeing this scene, Luo Cheng's pupils widened, as if he had seen something incredible. "Drink!" Lu Zhen's palms burst out, and he fired the Turtle Qigong towards Luo Cheng without hesitation. Luo Cheng is a strong man at the pinnacle of the extreme martial realm, while Lu Zhen is only at the mortal martial realm. Even if he uses his full strength, it is impossible to hurt the opponent at all. The dazzling light shot towards Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng's eyes widened, and he looked at the light in disbelief. He didn't react until the turtle-style Qigong was about to hit him. I saw him take action in an instant, and slapped his hands and sides with his back, directly sending the turtle-style Qigong flying away. Bang! The turtle Qigong hit the wall and exploded instantly. Dust and smoke billowed, filling the entire practice room. What's wrong? What happened? The disciples who were practicing outside heard the explosion and were directly attracted to it. Master Luo, what just happened? Qiu Fugue asked in surprise. Master Luo waved his hand and said, "It's okay. You don't need to panic. The explosion just now was caused by my accidental mistake. Sorry to disturb you. Ignore us. You can go back and continue practicing." Oh, Qiu Fugue nodded and then left with everyone looking confused. After everyone left, Luo Cheng could no longer hide his excitement. Fifth section. This is the 5th level of spiritual power. My dear mother, you are going to defy heaven. Luo Cheng was so excited that he even spoke in dialect. At this moment, Luo Cheng was shocked and excited. What was shocking was that Lu Zhen actually had 5th level mental power. His 5 levels of martial arts and 5 levels of body skills are already very demonic. Coupled with these 5 levels of mental power, it is simply unbelievable. At this age and at this level, there are actually people who can achieve the 3rd and 5th Dan levels at the same time. Looking at the entire history of Blue Star, there is no second person. What makes Luo Cheng excited is that Lu Zhen has now met the requirements for practicing the shadowless technique. I thought it would take some time to improve his mental strength and then teach him the shadowless technique. There is no need for that now. How much time is left? Luo Cheng asked excitedly. Lu Zhen, your mental power has reached the 5th level. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Lu Zhen said. No one asked me. Luo Cheng smiled and said, that's right. With your current martial arts and body skills, you don't need to use your mental power at all. If you don't use it deliberately, other people won't be able to tell. I never expected that your spiritual power is also in the 5th level. It's really unbelievable. But that's okay. It saves time for cultivating mental power. With your current martial arts, body, mind, and strength, there is no need to improve your overall strength. Start practicing the shadowless technique directly. Chapter 79, True and False, Without a Trace. Shadowless technique. Is it finally here? Lu Zhen began to look forward to it. He had long wanted to know how powerful the amazing shadowless technique was. Luo Cheng smiled and said, before I started teaching you the shadowless technique, I was still a little curious. What move did you just perform? Lu Zhen didn't hide anything and said directly, that move is called Turtle-Style Qigong. Turtle-Style Qigong? Luo Cheng thought for a while and continued, I've never heard of it. If I read it correctly, that move should be a spiritual martial skill. And it's the kind of supreme martial arts that combines strength and spiritual power. Spiritual martial arts are generally only mastered by those in the extreme martial arts realm. And this kind of supreme spiritual martial arts that combines strength and spirit can only be performed by extremely powerful warriors with super strong strength and spiritual power. It's unbelievable that you, who are only at the ordinary martial arts level, can perform such powerful martial arts. Can you tell me where you learned it? Sorry, Master Luo. Lu Zhen shook his head slightly, saying no. It's not that he doesn't want to say it, but he doesn't know how to say it. He can't say it was given to me by the system, right? Who would believe that? It's okay. I was presumptuous. Luo Cheng said with a smile. Since it's your secret, naturally you can't let others know. I'm just surprised that at your age and level you can actually comprehend such a powerful spiritual martial art. This talent is so outrageous. At the same time, I'm also very happy, which means I didn't find a wrong person. If you can understand the most powerful spiritual martial arts, such as Turtle School Qigong, you should also be able to easily understand the shadowless technique that I want to teach you. Luo Cheng paused, and his eyes suddenly changed. The next second, a strange scene appeared. Luo Cheng's body became blurry, and then split into a body exactly like Luo Cheng. Then, the two Luo Chengs continued to split into 2 identical Luo Chengs. At this moment, there are 4 identical Luo Chengs in the training room. Looking at this scene, Lu Zhen was shocked. He thought he was dazzled and hurriedly rubbed his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, he found that it was true. There are really 4 Luo Cheng in front of him. How is this possible? Lu Zhen exclaimed in disbelief. One of them, Luo Cheng, said, "You can attack us at the same time now and see if you can hit us." Lu Zhen nodded. He was also very curious, so he decisively punched one of the Luo Chengs. That Luo Cheng didn't dodge or defend. He just stood there and took Lu Zhen's punch. But when the fist hit him, the fist actually went through directly, as if it hit the air. Is this fake? Lu Zhen was surprised and turned around to attack the other Luo Cheng. Even if a punch is thrown out, it still passes directly through the opponent's body, as if it hits the air. False again. Could it be that it's all fake? Lu Zhen didn't believe in evil and attacked the last two Luo Cheng together. But the result is the same. Those two Luo Cheng are also fake. The fist hit them and went straight through them, just like hitting the air. Is it all a lie? How is this possible? Lu Zhen was shocked. He thought it was a martial skill similar to clones. One of the four was always real, but they were all fake. Seeing Lu Zhen's shocked look, the four Luo Cheng slowly walked towards him and put their hands on his shoulders. This feeling, Lu Zhen's eyes widened. He could clearly feel that the four Luo Cheng's hands were really on his shoulders. It was not fake. At this time, the bodies of the four Luo Cheng became blurry again, and then they all merged into one body, becoming one Luo Cheng again. Luo Cheng smiled and said, "You think we are fake, but in fact we all turn out to be real. But if you really think we are real, in fact they are all fake." Luo Cheng's words were convoluted, leaving Lu Zhen confused. Is that true or false? Lu Zhen asked doubtfully. Luo Cheng smiled and said, "It's all true, and it's all false. Whether it is true or false depends entirely on the will of the person who performs it." Lu Zhen asked in surprise, "Could it be that what you just performed was the shadowless technique?" "That's right." Luo Cheng nodded. The so-called shadowless technique means that it disappears without a trace, so that the enemy cannot tell the truth from the false. When the shadowless technique is used, it can differentiate into clones that are exactly the same as the original body. These clones are actually fake. Only one of the clones is the real body, and the rest are all phantoms. The caster can switch back and forth among these phantoms at any time, so that it can be true and false without leaving a trace, repeatedly confusing the opponent. This is the shadowless technique. Listening to Luo Cheng's explanation, Lu Zhen felt that he understood a little bit, but he was still a little confused and asked, "Since only one of them is real, why did I clearly feel that all four of your hands were real when your four clones touched me just now?" Luo Cheng explained, "This is where the shadowless technique is most powerful. If it's just an ordinary switch back and forth between clones, the shadowless technique can only be regarded as an illusion at best and cannot be called a martial skill. These false clones of the shadowless technique cannot be attacked by others, but they can attack and have a certain degree of lethality. It's just that the power is not as strong as the main body. If you want to make these clones more lethal, you have to look at the level of the caster's martial arts, body skills, and mental strength. Once one aspect is weak, the true power of the shadowless technique cannot be exerted, and the power exerted is far less powerful than ordinary martial arts. This is why the successor's martial arts, body skills, and mental strength are required to reach a balanced level." Hearing this, Lu Zhen nodded. He finally understood. To put it bluntly, shadowless technique can separate into lethal clones. Moreover, the main body can be switched back and forth, and the enemy cannot hurt the clone. If used well, whether it is attacking or dodging, it can work wonders. Calculating it this way, shadowless technique is really a powerful martial skill. His strength lies not in his power, but in his flexibility and deception. Luo Cheng continued, "If we look at the classification, shadowless technique should be regarded as a spiritual martial art. The control of these clones relies heavily on the mental power of the caster, and also consumes a lot of mental power. A person only needs a certain amount of mental expenditure to control one body. But if he wants to control multiple bodies at the same time, the energy consumption must be doubled. If the user's mental strength is not up to standard, he will not be able to perform this martial art at all. Lu Zhen nodded to express understanding. To control so many clones at once really consumes mental energy. Luo Cheng continued, your current martial arts, body skills, and mental strength are all in the 5th level. It's a very balanced level. You have fully met the requirements for practicing the shadowless technique. From now on, I will officially teach you the shadowless technique. Chapter 80 is this human language? The principle of shadowless technique is through. Luo Cheng began to explain the theoretical principles and underlying logic of shadowless technique. Lu Zhen listened carefully. If he had any questions, Luo Cheng would patiently answer them. Before I knew it, this lecture lasted several hours. All right, the basic theory of shadowless technique has been explained. After Luo Cheng finished speaking, he took a sip of tea. At the same time, just after he finished explaining, a voice sounded in Lu Zhen's mind. It has been detected that you have learned the shadowless technique. Your average martial arts skill is level 5, and the shadowless technique will automatically be upgraded to level 5. Hearing this voice, Lu Zhen couldn't help but smile. The system function is easy to use, and any new martial arts skills you learn can be automatically upgraded. This can save a lot of practice time. Luo Cheng looked at Lu Zhen and said, as you just heard, the principle of shadowless technique is very complicated. If you want to learn it thoroughly, it won't be accomplished in a short while. I started learning shadowless technique when I was 17, and it took me almost 2 years to get started. I've been practicing the shadowless technique for decades now. To say it is a great success is a bit too much, but at least it is a small success. I am at the peak of the extreme martial realm. With my level, I can currently create up to 8 clones. This is already my greatest limit, but it's not the limit of shadowless technique. In the history of Wu sect, there was a leader who achieved the quasi-god realm. You can create nearly 100 clones in one breath. It can be said that the stronger the realm, the stronger the shadowless technique. Lu Zhen was surprised when he heard this. Nearly 100 clones? That one person is an army. This is outrageous, Luo Cheng continued. You already understand the principle. You can try it now and see if it can be used smoothly. Of course, after all, this is your first attempt, so you can't succeed in the first try. It took me 2 years to get started, and I tried thousands of times before I could create my first clone. Your talent is much better than when I was young. You shouldn't need to use it thousands of times. Lu Zhen nodded. Then let me give it a try. Then, under Luo Cheng's gaze, Lu Zhen began to communicate with the shadowless technique in his body. I saw his brows furrowed and felt that his mental state was constantly expanding. The next second, his body began to become blurry and gradually twisted, as if it was about to split. How is this possible? Looking at this scene, Luo Cheng's eyes widened in disbelief. In this state, Lu Zhen was clearly about to take on the form of his first clone. Under Luo Cheng's shocked eyes, Lu Zhen's body successfully transformed into an identical clone. FK. What a success. Luo Cheng was shocked that Lu Zhen actually came out. Is this his first time trying it? Success on the first try? This is incredible. Lu Zhen frowned. After forming his first clone, he didn't intend to stop yet. His body became blurry again. He doesn't want to turn into his second clone, right? Luo Cheng said in disbelief. And the fact is exactly what he thought. Not long after Lu Zhen transformed into the first clone, he transformed into a second clone. My dear mother, it really turned out. Luo Cheng's eyes widened and his mouth opened wide. At this moment, other than being shocked, he no longer knew what to say. It took me 2 years to get started, and it took me thousands of attempts to successfully create my first clone. But Lu Zhen actually succeeded in one attempt, and even created 2 clones. Luo Cheng has already thought that Lu Zhen's talent is outrageous, but I didn't expect that Lu Zhen's real talent was much more outrageous than imagined. Compared with him, I am simply a muggle. It's so shocking. After Lu Zhen transformed into a second clone, he wanted to try a third clone. But the mental energy consumption was too great, and I couldn't bear it all, so I failed in the end. This also proves that his current limit is 2 clones. The 2 clones disappeared, and Lu Zhen collapsed on the ground exhausted, sighing regretfully. No, I still can't bear it. The third clone still can't be transformed. These words made Luo Cheng's lips twitch. Do you think this is spoken in human language? Not satisfied with making 2 bodies on your first try? Do you still want to take on a third body? Luo Cheng kept complaining in his heart, but he was still very happy. The 2 clones are already very powerful. This has been far beyond my imagination. You succeeded on the first try. Your talent is so terrifying. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it to death. Someone could practice the shadowless technique for the first time and create 2 clones. If the previous leaders knew about it, they would have to climb out of the coffin and take a look. Luo Cheng exclaimed. Lu Zhen smiled and said, "Is it that exaggerated?" Luo Cheng smiled and said, "You can't describe it as an exaggeration. It's against the sky. My master once told me when I first started practicing shadowless technique. I'm the one with the fastest comprehension speed in the history of Wu Ying's sect. I was still smug at the time, but now it seems that I am a joke. You are the one with the fastest comprehension speed in the history of Wu Ying's sect." What Luo Cheng said made Lu Zhen a little embarrassed. "What you said is too exaggerated." Luo Cheng said, "You don't have to be modest. Fast is fast. There's no need to hide it. You deserve such praise." Lu Zhen smiled and said, "Master Luo, thank you." Luo Cheng continued to ask, "How does the shadowless technique feel?" Lu Zhen said, "It's amazing. It feels like every clone is me, but none of them are me. But it does consume a lot of mental energy. I can easily control 1 clone, but it's a bit uncomfortable when I have 2 souls." Luo Cheng nodded. "It's normal. You are only in the mortal martial realm now. No matter how high your mental power is, it won't be much higher. Being able to control 2 clones is already very powerful." Lu Zhen nodded and asked, "Just after I transformed into a clone, I suddenly thought of a question. Can I just sit at home and let my avatar go out and wander around? If you encounter any danger, you can return to the safe area as soon as possible." Luo Cheng smiled and said, "The clone created by shadowless technique is, in the final analysis, just an illusion that relies on the main body." Not really. The clone and the main body cannot be too far apart. The further away the clone is, the greater the mental power will be consumed. Once it exceeds the range of your mental control, the clone will disappear. So it's best not to let the clone get too far away from you. It's best to control it within a certain range. Of course, the higher the realm.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.